Hello and welcome back. No, this is not a slightly younger Roy in holiday mode. I'm Jeff, the whiskey slapper in the shirt and shades, stepping in for Roy while he enjoys his summer break. I think we'll agree he kind of deserves it. Not sure if it is a break though. I've seen him pretty active on the different WhatsApp chats that I've managed to kind of worm my way into. Either way, tonight I'm going to be like unofficially getting the wheels turning for OSWAs 2024. Maybe more like just like oiling the wheels. The focus is, what do you, me, and my guests want to see in the coming awards, and looking for some kind of fresh bottles to pick. Let's kind of mix it up. Let's get some more inspiration ready to shake it up a bit this year. Not that we need to. There's the Trifecta to cover. There is probably lots of other things, but I can't remember right now. I've got two great guests waiting for me already. Hopefully they've done their homework. I've set them, but to give them a few extra seconds, I'll do a classic Roy. And if I can find the right place to click, I'll see you in a bit.
Jeff Whiskey.
So it's great to see so many people already in the chat. There's people beforehand. I managed to give out 5 memberships to Jeff Whiskey. So YouTube are kind of promoting it now. So I've got the Bottle Slap Club, which is what I refer to, the wonderful slappers who happily or foolishly send me 99p a month to support the channel. So you get access to like emojis and all that jazz. But speaking of that, in the spirit of the VPub, tonight it should be fully non-monetized, so there shouldn't be any adverts when watching this back or live. So hopefully I've set that up correctly, because no VPubs right nowadays if I'm taking your money. I'm grateful just to take your time. Quickly dive into the chat. There's a fair few of you in here, so thank you for embracing me while Roy's away. Scrolling up, so we had Hell's Weird, Alan, Peathead, Alan Smith, to give you a full name, some giving else a full name. I'm not just calling him Pete, as in Peathead. That's why I changed my name to Jeff on WhiskyTube. There's lots of chat going on, so thank you for being here. I don't know how Roy manages it, but grateful to see you here. Donna Pass Whiskey, Whiskey Liberation Front. I think you're off to bed soon, Lee J. So if you are still on hen, sweet dreams. Have a good night tomorrow. That's quite a creepy thing, me saying that to you, isn't it? But we don't talk about what happened at Bristol Whiskey Festival last year. Whiskey Lover Society, Tobias. So many shirts in the chat, which is great to see. Do use those emojis, and I can make like 3 more, I think I've been told. So if there's anything you want to see, I've already got a goose, so Jenny will be happy. Happy birthday to you, Gerben. Is it Gerben? If it's pronounced wrong, that is my on brand for me, so I can only apologize, but happy birthday to you. Chris, I can't see it. I've made it too small. I've put it on another monitor so I can see it, but Chris Pollack, is that? If I'm pronouncing you wrong, I'm sorry. Scott Mathieson, and yeah, it's me giving away 5. That's what it's telling me now. Great. So enough of that very professional ramble. Thank you for being here. Generally, it's great that Roy, he asked me a while back and I was like, yeah, I'll get back to you. And in my like mad whiskey haze at the moment, I forgot to get back to him. So it was quite last minute to take over. You got a VinPub, I think, at the end of the holiday, and Roy's, I think he's sorting out something for the middle. If you're on his Patreon, I'm sure he'll let you know. But if you're watching me, let's get back to the topic. And I'm sure you know what the online Scotch Whisky Awards are. So this will be their 4th year. I don't have any like big spoilers to drop, I'm afraid to say, any like real exciting things to get you pumped about it. All that will be covered by Ralfy in the 22nd of August, but it won't stop us talking about it. And if you can get Ralfy to catch on for Roy and Ralfy and say that to them, it'll bring me great joy and probably them great confusion. I've also got a little quiz at the end. It's not a Menno quiz, so it will be pass marks all round. I have included a Menno-esque question, maybe two. I can't remember. That's how hard it was. And I've also run a poll for the last week to gauge what you wonderful whiskey folk are putting forward. And I'm going to dip into that as we work through. I have, just as this stream started, I have closed the poll just so I can kind of keep track. So it was pinned in the comments. It's now been taken down. I think it's something like 37 people. How it maybe ended on 40. Not quite sure. But yeah, grateful for everyone giving their thoughts. And I've gone through there, taken out any bottles that have appeared multiple times before, or kind of when there's been spelling like differentials between the two. For instance, Campbelltown Lock was spelt quite a few ways, so I've merged that into one. But we'll come to that. I think first, let's start with the first meaty topic before I bring in the guests. And if I could add this to the stage. So the first meaty topic is, which is possibly the biggest criticism I've seen about the OSWAs, and that is, it's all the same. Not something I really agree with. It's very much a mixture, and from working through, I've kind of established it's not. How do I make that? There you go. You want to see that more than you want to see me. I can feel like, especially with Whiskey Tube, at times we're all kind of praising the same bottles which roll out to the community. However, I think it's fair to say that this is not coming in the forms of an echo chamber. It's not us whiskey folk parroting each other. It's what we gain interest from the praise from other people, the people we respect, and then we investigate ourselves. So I do know there is quite a, not necessarily a funnel into the OSWAs, into the bottles we're all talking about. And you will see in the poll, there is some consistency, let's say, in what people have picked. But I think the winners are the brands and bottles that do things right. They're right on the nose, right on the palate, and right in your pocket. Sorry, I just had something pop up. Yep, sorry, all good. So many more people have jumped in, so thank you for being here. Let's see. Rick Johnson, thank you for being here. Whiskey 101, where's Roy? Whiskytopia. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Mel saying, thanks for taking over. I can share these comments on the screen if I can remember how, but we won't worry about it for now. I rambled on quite enough. Let's talk about things are all the same, which is the common criticism. And I'll quickly go through these first, and then I'll bring the guests on because they're very patiently waiting. So as you can see, the OSWA staples I refer to as, so these are the bottles that keep popping up. Or when I say keep popping up, this is me late last night, very hurriedly counting on my fingers how many times I see the same bottle over the last 3 years. So some are quite shocked, like Ben Romack has actually only got to the nomination stage twice. I think one was the cash strength for best Scotch, and the other was best distillery, I want to say, but don't hold me to that or to any of my figures. You got quite a few came in 3 times. Johnny Walker appeared 3 times. Tobermory, which, have I spelled that wrong? It looks like it, but who knows? Elijah Craig. And then you get to ones who have appeared a lot. So Redbreast 4 times, Glen Scotia 5, Aaron 6. What I can do is, if my guests are ready, I'll bring you in now, and then I can chat to you as we go through this instead of you waiting there, listening to my nasally voice. I'll spread it out with you both. So first, who can I bring in? You can see the sweat bringing in. I think first who appears nearest to my mouse, and that is once again, I'm bringing on the whiskey mechanic. He was one of the behind the scenes workers for like the OSWAs. I refer to him as a whiskey twin, but that's only an insult to him. And that is Rob. How are you?
Hey up, Pete. Sorry, Jeff Whiskey. I'm very well, thank you.
Yep, I've
My
already
whiskey
released
twin.
the secret that my name is Pete tonight, so we'll move on quickly before everyone leaves.
The
Yes,
cat is out of the bag.
how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me back. I
Um,
assume the last one we did was good because I don't have the bottle to rewatch it. I can't do it. Not this and all the podcasts for that matter. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be back.
Well, the main thing is you lived through it. That's what you got to think. You don't need to go back and re-experience it. You were there. You were in the trenches, and no one else was available. So I'm glad you could be here.
Well, thank you for helping me sneak back into the VPub as well.
It's okay. When I'm hosting the VPub, there's a very loose locked door policy. So,
I
and
appreciate
then to keep things consistent, I've got an A team who I like to rely on. Last time, she almost took the VPub off the rails with her love of bingo. She demanded that we sing happy birthday to her last time, and that is the amazing Jenny Carlson. How are you?
I'm a year older. I'm good, thank you. Yes, that took lots of convincing for me to come back on, eh? Not at all.
I'm very grateful for you being here. You are away at the moment, so you're giving us the international edge, which is what I like to see. I've noticed there's a slight delay on your camera, but we can hear you fine, so don't worry about that.
Okay.
Rob, have you got whiskies to hand with you?
I do. As you both saw in the green room, I was still scrabbling to get everything together before this street. I thought it was very organized. I've done my homework. I tried to do more for extra credit, and still I was scrabbling to the very last minute. So, yeah, the table is teetering at the minute.
Good.
That's a good sign. And Jenny, you're the opposite. Is it fair to say?
Oh God, I couldn't decide whether to be honest on this VPub or not. But yeah, I have no whiskies today. I'm terribly sorry about that. I am on holiday in my parents' home in Sweden, and all their whiskies are either all drunk or closed bottles, and I didn't have the heart to open them. Also, they're just my whiskey, so I've tried them before. So I'm on wine tonight. So classy.
I love the fact
As
that
you
your
can
parents
tell.
have got. Sorry, I was gonna say I love the fact your parents have got your whiskey of all whiskies.
That sounds bad. I mean, they have the whiskies that I work for.
Of course, no, I think it's nice. I think it's nice. It's like having the kids when you go back home to your parents' house and all your trophies are hung up in your old bedroom.
I wouldn't think it'd be fair if your parents were just stuck with like bottles of bells and that. Like, I don't think that'd be quite fair on you, Jenny, to be honest.
No, that would be hurtful. I do agree. No, they should have all the. They've got a great decent stock of various Campbelltown whiskies, and it was very funny because my social media feed this weekend has been all about the Kilkerran birthday party that I was meant to be going to, but ended up cancelling. And there's Frank McCarty's face comes up on all the pictures, and my mum says, "He signed my bottle. He signed that bottle. He signed that bottle." Because when they were over, they got him to sign all their bottles. It's really funny.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, I
Yes,
don't want to open their signed bottles. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, God, no.
Isn't that the job of a child, though, is to open your parents' alcohol and see how much you can take before they realize?
Did you used to do that, where you pour water in to sort of make sure you didn't look like you'd taken any?
I think probably because my dad never really drunk, and when my mum's whiskey, she drank so slowly, I don't think she would have realised that any of the Glenfiddich 12 has disappeared.
It didn't work for Bailey's, I'll tell you that.
At least it was a black bottle, so they couldn't tell what the fill level was.
That's true, yeah.
I know.
We did also have Phil from First Phil Whiskey joining us tonight. Sadly, he's had to drop out a last minute because of work commitments. So that's all the more reason to kind of make sure you subscribe to his channel so we can get him to do this full time. And then I can milk him for the views, really. I'm glad I added the views at the end. Otherwise, that would have been a strange sentence to end on. But both of you, before we dive into that list that I've already started, because this is already off the rails, how have you found putting your list together of OSWA bottles that you would like to see in the OSWAs that have not yet been in the OSWAs?
Mm-hmm.
Have you found it a challenge? Have you found it too easy?
Well, do you want to go first, Rob? Or
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's tough. It is tough. So I did a little cheat. Obviously, Jeff Whiskey. Sorry, I need to get out of that habit. Jeff Whiskey. So I have all the. I cheated. I went back and looked through all that old questionnaires and Google Google Forms and things and looked at all the different submissions to get some ideas, because when I was going through it and kind of initially plotting down what I had as a bottle to hand and also what I would want to see or even vote for myself, it felt like very much like an echo chamber. And then you sent over your cheat sheet of things to avoid, and there's a lot. So I say I've got a little spreadsheet going, and I'd say at least 60% of those have already been struck out as not applicable, because there's just so many of the great bottles, let's say, in this echo chamber that kept cropping up. I did, and I feel like the ones I've actually selected in the end, I'm really happy with, and I feel like there are some here that maybe people don't really talk about. There are ones that, well, I've got two, obviously, that are from outside of the UK, but maybe in different categories that people might not expect, which hopefully should be interesting. But very, very difficult. Very difficult.
Yeah,
I agree. It was so difficult because I thought, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just write down what I think, did a list, and then I looked at that cheat sheet, and a lot of it was on there. And I said to Jeff, I says, I think I'm calling you Jeff because that's what I have.
yeah, Jeff did.
I says, I feel like maybe I've been influenced by all these YouTubers then, because I'm picking very similar whiskies to what's been on the OSWAs for the last couple of years. So I did a different way now this afternoon, and I did a little bit of, I looked through my phone because I attend a lot of whiskey shows and whiskey fairs, and I take pictures of what I try, and there was a couple of things that popped out, and I thought, they deserve to be mentioned, and we'll see how it goes, but yeah, let's just see where it takes us. Like you, Rob, I have a couple that maybe aren't Scotch, but definitely worth mentioning.
Oh, that's exciting. The main thing. It's a star for effort, and then we'll see what it is at the end.
Yeah.
So we start with full marks, and you take away the 4 bottles. That's
before I dive in, Rick Johnson, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Very grateful, and Ebhead as well. Generally, welcome to their Bottle Slap Club. There is emojis. I do try to put other things. There's like a community tab. Do check that out. I try to keep it up to date, and if there's anything you want to see, do let me know. So what I refer to as the OSWA staples. So these are the bottles that appear frequently.
Yeah.
I have missed off some. Is there any surprises on there for you? Any that you think you've seen more, or any you've seen a lot less of?
In OSWAs or in general, or
So, for instance, in the OSWAs, lots of people have said that Redbreast appears the most. I've had that quite a lot, but it's only appeared 4 times. So my biggest shock was Ben Romack has only been mentioned twice.
I see.
Absolutely.
Yes. And Toby Murray, that was a bit of a shock when I saw that there. But yeah, you're right, Ben Romack. I thought I'd been up more as well.
Yeah, me too. I had at least 2 Ben Romacks put down initially in my picks, and I adore Ben. I actually had Ben Romack as my first dram on the last VPub, Jeff pub. But I think it's interesting because I was one of those when you asked Jeff, what do we expect to be in there? What was the most nominated? Sorry, and I said Redbreast because I feel like it's such a beloved non-Scotch, and
yeah,
I think because that is, I think it was, I may be wrong, but it the Redbreast 15 and the cask strength, I think, won both their categories last year, and it's because the flavour is fantastic. It's so easily accessible around the world, which I think is a key thing as well, because the majority of these the votes are core range rather than these one-offs, 200 bottles, single casks. So the core range kind of does take over the OSWAs, but
accessibility to the bottles really is a huge factor. So these are not all of them. There is obviously some more prominent bottles that have appeared more than these ones. Did you want to have a guess what you think is the bottle or the brand that's appeared the most?
More than Aaron?
Yeah, there's 4, I think, bottles or brands that have appeared more times.
Right. So one's definitely Springbank.
Yeah,
I mean, that is an easy guess, right?
The brand or the a specific bottle brand?
So I've done it as just the brand.
Okay. Well, dare I ask, is it Ardnamurchan?
So you both have got correct answers there. So we've got Wild Turkey
And
with
Wild
7
Turkey.
nominations.
Wild Turkey, of
When
course.
I was chatting to my team on our chat, I was talking about this topic, and they straight away said, "Yeah, Wild Turkey's definitely been on there."
Yeah, so there's
And
been
again, it's availability, accessibility, and the price is brilliant for the ABV as well. Like, I think it's easy to forget that Wild Turkey 101 is such a high proof for the price. It's fantastic.
Yep. So
yeah, there's a reason for it to be there, of course, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
there's a lot of chat about
101.
Compass Box as well. I noticed in the chat. I was just spying on what was said.
Yeah,
and they are bang on the money. Compass
Mhm.
Box has turned up 9 times, and they've only appeared, I think, in 2 categories,
There you go.
which have been, is it best blend and blended malt, I want to say?
Yeah, I think you might be right there.
So yeah, so there's that's a good question from Rick Johnson. Are these repeat brands a problem for the OSWAs? Do you think this is the case? Rob and Jenny, any onions on it?
I'm not sure if it's a problem. I mean, as much as we're all whiskey fans, and the OSWAs, we drink beyond what comes up in the OSWAs. It's just a case of what is everybody drinking. So so maybe the 3 of us are loving Glenord, but out of the 10 people are voting, for example, the other 7 don't drink Glenord, or they don't even pick it in their initial round of votes. And I think that's the key thing. Like, we all love Springbank. Everybody loves Springbank. And I think the reason why that gets so high is because everybody's drinking it, or everybody's chasing it, and everybody agrees it's brilliant. Not everybody might not agree that Artist Blend is great or whatever. I just think it's thinking about those collective votes that are piling up, rather than everyone. It's not that everyone thinks that Springbank is their best, is their favorite. It's just that everyone agrees that it's great.
Yeah,
and that's something people need to bear in mind.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if it's a problem as such. I mean, there is, like Rob said, there is a reason for why these whiskies do appear, and that we are a community that enjoy these whiskies. What I'm hoping is that it's not going to put new OSWA voters off, that they're thinking, oh, it's just this club or whatever. I mean, I think it's quite nice meeting and speaking to other distilleries and other whiskey companies on the road. Like, oh, look at you doing so well, and they also so that they love you, kind of thing. And sometimes it can be a little bit of a tone in there, like jokingly, but I think they do enjoy it as well. They want to maybe be more part of it, and yes, we need to share the love as much as we can. But I'm hoping it's not going to put other brands and OSWA followers off going all for it. Like, come up with new. I mean, it's basically left to you to nominate who you want to vote for, and then do it, kind of thing. So it can only grow.
Yeah, and I think a good way that what Roy and Ralfy, or as I will now say, Royfy, have decided to do, and that brings me lovely onto my next slide. It's almost like I prepared this, and that is the trifecta timeout. So I want to get the wording correct on this one. I did have to go back to watch it. I did copy it, but where have I put it?
Yeah, Roy basically had to spell it out.
Yeah.
It was a little bit confusing, but
so the hat trick is, and in quotes, if a producer or a product manages to secure 3 wins in a category in consecutive years, they get a very, very special award, and that award is the Trifecta Award. So 3 wins in a row, turn this to Jonathan Ross. 3 wins in a row, you get a pat on the head, a good job sticker, and you'll be sitting out the next awards to give others a chance. I'm pretty sure that's it, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Sounds
and
right.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. It kind of gives a bit more breathing room for other people to come in and try. It's not punishing the people who've won 3 times, because they're well deserved to win it 3 times. And I think from going through it, I think there's been 4. If I am wrong, Rob, Jenny, do correct me, or anyone in the chat. At Jeff Whiskey, I kind of see it pop up if I can match it. So I've got it there. So try to get people to appear on down here as well if I can. So Sugar Kitty, such a huge issue of all the Springbank, Hill Care and Long Row and the products in the US. Yeah, that's one thing as well. With I don't know if Roy ever released the locations. I don't know if we provided that in the form we filled out. Probably not. But like a rough location of where people are voting for. I imagine majority are possibly UK based.
Yeah.
I know if I can only say, for instance, on my channel, it's something like 60% UK, and then it's United States, Canada, and I want to say it's then India. And then there's lots of other small percentages around the world for my channel. So Roy's, obviously, you can't extrapolate my data to his, but it's a good way. It may kind of show the narrower viewpoint, but I don't think there is a better way to do it. Alan, the whiskey friend, I think as the tiers go by the younger distilleries will come through the Rassos, King Barnes, Lockley and Lindors. I think no spoilers for what's coming later, but I think you're pretty on the money there. We've had that one. Let's go to WhiskyWithMolly. And respectfully, at the same following as Roy, we'll see different nominations as you review different whiskies for a lot of YouTubers. Same with Vin. Yeah, and that is the beauty. I spoke to Stuart WhiskyWings earlier, and we were saying how he reviews a very different style of bottle than I do. And that's kind of the beauty of Whiskey Tube. While there is bottles that we all do sing praises about, a recent example is Ardnahoe, their inaugural release. This is not a good sentence to say for me, but everyone's been raving about that, and I would say fairly so. I've only tried 2 samples. I'm not done a review of it because I didn't get a bottle, but I've just seen I've been covering you up. Sorry, Jenny, I didn't mean to cover you up there.
Don't worry. No, that's good.
Amy, great to see you here. It's about accessibility too, 100%. It's if people can get hands on the bottles, which is one of the reasons why I wonder how many people vote for Springbank who've been able to get them a bottle themselves. I know it's the distillery, like the Beacon Distillery, the Angelic Distillery, but it's a case of, are we joining in? I know I personally didn't take Springbank for anything, but again, I'll get that to that later because I don't want people to shoot me.
We're not going to shoot you. Not for loving Springbank.
So do correct me if I'm wrong. So the trifecta timeout includes, so it's Aaron 10 won best value single malt 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Great price, really accessible.
Yeah. Springbank. Has Aaron 10 gone up for anyone else? Have you noticed that? I've noticed that Aaron 10, it's been on my wish list for a long time, and every time I look, it's gone up by like £3-4. So it's easily 15 quid more than I've seen it. Has anyone else found that?
Last time I saw it, I think it was like 44 quid. Yeah, I think it's. I feel like it's always on offer as well on the Jeff Bezos website. But,
yeah, I think that was one of the ones that popped up. Yeah, the other Jeff, the slightly more successful Jeff than me.
Only slightly.
Fractionally. I'll say the slightly less handsome Jeff.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
That's enough of my ego. Springbank 3 years in a row for best distillery, which will be interesting to see who comes next. I think I've got that covered in a slide later. We'll find out. I could just be teasing people to stay with us. Jenny, you may have heard of Ardna Merchant.
How do you pronounce it again?
Ardni Michi-chan.
Yeah, that one. What? Merchant.
So yeah, that's best new distillery 3 years in a row. How old is Ardna Merchant now?
We're turning 10 this year, which means we're no longer new, I suppose.
Yeah, so yeah, I had to look. So 10 years old, a distillery that's 10 is the cutoff point. So you couldn't have, even though you've got the trifecta, Ardna Merchant couldn't have won it again because they would have gone over the age limit.
Exactly.
But they could appear in the best distillery category this time around. So
they could.
I will eat my hat, honestly.
Watch out, Springbank, eh?
And the last one was Signatory Vintage for best independent bottler, which I think this year, going by how I've seen people's votes in the polls, not to tease, wouldn't have won anyway. There's definitely an independent bottler which people are very much falling in love with at the moment.
See, that's interesting. So I am a very strong fan. Every year I've always voted for the same indie bottler, and I've always put it down as my other option, trying to get an extra vote in there, and it's never won. I think it might have cropped up once. I'm not going to reveal it, all my votes, but I think this year Signatory have done some fantastic things for the community in terms of price, and I think everyone knows what I'm getting at there.
Yeah, not to give anything away. Very slyly done there. Right. Are you both ready? Or before we dive in, would you both like to do a quick game of guess that bottle?
Yeah, absolutely.
I always make a silly fool out of myself, but sure, let's go for it. Why not?
I feel like I've got a better chance at this than the quizzes that Roy does.
Yeah, well, that's later as well, the quiz. So if you do good in this one, you could do trash in the quiz. And if you do trash in this, you could do good in the quiz. Let's find it before I give away the answers.
No, give us the answers, please.
All right, is this the right slide? We'll find out. There we go. So joining at home. So I did make a note of the rules. So I've played this now 4 times and people seem to like it, which is good. Because I previously did an AI-based challenge, and I think there was too much confusion with that. So it's a case of I've got an image of a bottle. I've zoomed in and chucked some Vaseline on the lens. You got to guess what that bottle is. You only get 1 guess per bottle. First one to guess it right wins, and if you get it wrong, you're out. So if you guess it on the second slide and you guess wrong, you're out. As the other person can take as much time as they like to guess it.
Don't worry, Rob. I'll get myself out early.
Well, I mean, during the podcast, I'm a distillery, and I'm probably one of the last people to even put my name in. So we'll see.
Oh.
I'm going to hold you out to the last slide.
Yeah, this is, as you point out, this is quite a close rip-off, a visual rip-off of I Am a Distillery. Right, so everyone ready for image 1, and I'll try to keep my eyes on the chat as well. If anyone beats you to it. Right, image 1 gives everything away.
So it does. Yeah, I know where it is.
I have an idea, but I'm going to hold my water.
Oh, wow.
And any guesses?
Can't see any in the chat yet.
No, yeah, no one's popped in yet. Right, slide number 2. I think this could be.
Yeah. Cutty Sark. What is it called?
No,
it's the one. It's the Jeff Ball Prohibition. Is that what it's called?
No comment. Are you locking that in?
I don't know if yeah, I guess so. That's probably as close as it's going to get. So,
did you want to guess anything alternatively, Jenny?
No, I think I recognize the label, but I don't know. I can't. No, I'll go for another one.
Oh, no one's going to see that.
Oh, there you are.
Ralfy, Roy, and me. But that's from my personal collection. There you go. So the next slide.
Oh gosh, I'm rubbish at this. Is that the Cutty Sark one? I don't want to say the same as Rob.
You can say the same if you want. There's quite a few people saying similar in the chat.
I know, but I thought it was something else, and its name has completely escaped me now, which is really, I'm just going to blame my age and the state of my
Blame it on the Merlot.
Yeah. Go one more.
One more. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, it is that one.
Yeah. Rob's looking very smug there.
I don't know if I've got it right. I don't know if I've got the right name. To be honest,
it's a Cutty Sark Prohibition, isn't it?
Yeah. And quite a few people got it in the chat. Cutty Sark Prohibition, one of the best bottles ever. One that I will sing its praises until I don't, because I just love that whiskey. So we had a couple of guesses. So we had a Sugar Kitty with a Brook Laddie, peathead with a Booner 18.
I thought it was Booner at the first.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it was the Brook Laddie that I thought. It was the that's what I thought as well. Oh, I'm trying to find.
Is it the beer barley, the one with the white label, or the off-white label? Is it?
I couldn't remember. Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not down with the Brook Laddies. And if it's teal, I could tell you which one it was. So yeah, Donna Pass Whiskey got Cutty Sark Prohibition, Whiskey with Molly, Andrew Pears.
Oh gosh, they're brilliant.
Whiskey Slayer went McLoughlin. Alan Smith Prohibition. Yep, lots of prohibitions.
Yeah.
Yes, and we had a Teeling, which I can very much see Teeling, white label on the black bottle.
That is a great guess.
So yes, that is So did you want to do, while you're pumped, another round of this, or did you want to talk about OSWAs like we're meant to be doing?
I'll go for another round.
Yeah, I'll go for another round.
I could tell you both were like, yeah, go on.
So competitive.
I've got to say that I feel like this bottle personifies Jeff Whisky. And I know because I got into the OSWAs, and I feel like you'd uncovered something really special with this bottle. We're both bargain hunters. We'll probably only buy anything that's on sale.
Yeah,
very rarely that we buy anything full price. The cheap bastards that we are. But this one is incredible. Price, ABV, flavor. It's fantastic.
So before I even started my channel, there was a whiskey Discord group. There was a channel called New Dram Drinker. I'm sure I've mentioned them and Brotherton because they were amazing. Ant and Nikki. They started a club called the Certified Originals, the COs. And this is back before I had the stones to go in front of a camera. I was like a little shy boy, not in the shades because my face hasn't melted at that point. And one of their tastings was Kai's out Prohibition. I was like, well, that's 22 quid on Amazon. I'm going to buy that and I'm going to join in with them. And since then, Prohibition was very much the reason I started my channel, I think. That was the first video I'd done, possibly. Yeah, because the cork broke while filming it. And back then I didn't know how to do it. So it was just panic until you could see.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, Peathead, CA's Rocks, how I met Peathead. One of the reasons why I saw him in Bristol when he had a wonderful trip. And I won't say any more to embarrass the wonderful chap. And then there was another person said about the CAs as well. I think Lynn and Andy, I think I met them through the CAs as well. So it's a wonderful, fantastic intro to whiskey. So the next, have I got, okay, we're safe. Are you both ready?
Mm-hmm.
Want to do stretches or anything first, or are you good?
I don't know. I think I might need to do some sort of mental arithmetic. I'm fine.
Right. So here it is, the Vaseline camera lens number 1.
Oh, you don't make it easy, do you?
No, as Catchphrase would say what you see.
That looks like a beach.
You can't call Rob that. Oh,
Jenny can call me anything. It's fine.
I was going to say the mind games have started.
I was thinking about when you were doing the introduction there earlier, Jeff. We were talking about all the slappers, and I was thinking I need a T-shirt that says "I love being a slapper."
I did make one, and I'll blame it on the winter. But let's say it shrunk, not the other way around, and it said "Proud Slapper" on the front.
Oh.
And I always thought, that's good until I wear that on the school run, and then I think I'll get questions.
We need some Jeff Whisky merch.
There is coasters, and Jenny, I've not forgotten you before you attack me through the camera. Yours is coming, and there is a few other people who I think could be in tonight who've got coasters coming from me. They are on the way. I think I've updated everyone, but if I haven't, they are on the way. I ordered for a different company, and the quality was just pants. So I have sent them back and getting more done by the original company. So if you are waiting a coaster for me, I will let you know when I get them and I'll post them out. I don't know how quick it'll be to post them worldwide, but they will get to you soon.
Sorry, in the meantime,
a coaster game in a pub. I've done it, but whiskey people.
I think these would be quite. I've got one somewhere. I was going to say these are quite thick. That could be a dangerous game with these ones. You'll knock an eye out.
In the meantime, we need Jeff Whisky branded sunglasses and floral shirts.
Yeah.
The dream.
That would be fantastic.
The thing is, if it was really Jeff Whisky, the floral shirts would be in the reduced aisle.
Everything's on sale.
Right. So we've given everyone, no one in the chat's had a guess, I don't think. Oh, no, we've had someone with a guess with. There is a few guesses. A Boona 12. A guess for an Aaron. A Glendronach, Aaron 10, and a Springbank. Oh, and an Ardnahoe.
I think Aaron's neck is too wavy for it, but it does it is a bit wider, so it's not a bad guess.
Right. Slide number 2. There we go.
Oh.
I feel like I recognise that cork and that label.
But, that cork is Aaron-esque, but it doesn't have the sticker over it.
Maybe I've placed a sticker to throw you off.
That'd be cool.
So we've got someone guessing for Amy with a Flora and Fauna bottle. I'll say no comments. So that's people putting their guesses in.
Yeah, I'm not going to guess yet. That's no.
Right, here it is.
Oh,
This. Oh, I saw. Did Rob go for a question then? God, you can cut the tension.
no,
with a
I'm
knife
going to
then.
hold my water. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
I think I've
Do
got
you know
it.
it?
I think so. Yeah, I think I got it from the cork, but yeah.
Oh, did you want to try beating Jenny and then play the
No.
game?
I mean, beating me is not going to be that hard. Let's be honest. I'm trying to think of what labels are like that. But to give us another picture, would you?
Yeah, I think this is the giver away. Giver awayer.
Eh,
Lots of people have got it correct.
Oh, hang on, let me check.
Cheating, teacher.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I can't say I have had this whiskey in a very long time, so that'll be my excuse for not getting it. Is it the Powers John Lane?
It is. Was that what you was going to say, Rob? I'm taking you on your word.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
No,
no,
it's good. No,
that's
it's good.
good.
I was going to say powers too. I feel like
yeah.
my ability with whiskey is I feel like maybe it's graphic design background. I think I'm quite tuned into it, but my tasting notes are absolutely pants.
It's really, really cool, isn't it? With the way it says Powers and whiskey.
Fantastic.
That is really smart.
Mm-hmm. I know,
like that.
Jeff, you're a fan of the older bottle, but I've got to say,
Yes.
I've got to agree with Jenny. This is a great looking bottle, and
Very
it tastes
smart.
fantastic too. The whole range is really, really smart.
Yeah, I haven't had any of the new stuff at all, so that's my excuse. But that is a cool looking bottle for sure.
That is definitely up there with the Redbreast 12.
Yeah,
Redbreast 12 is a good looking bottle.
Yeah.
Ben got it first, I think. I could be wrong. Let me know if I am.
Bottles need to be good to pour from as well, because sometimes bottles look really cool and they're terrible pourers.
Yep. Have you seen the Sexton whiskey, the Irish whiskey?
No.
It's a very short, stubby little bottle. It's got a very ornate cork with a skull on it, and it is just horrific to pour. It's so bad when you buy the bottle. Most of the times they give you like a pub, like this spouts you get in pubs.
Yeah.
They give you one of them to put in the bottle.
Well, it's in like the one you put in the cork with the little.
Yes, I've got a branded one of those because I'm assuming because they're so well known for being awful to pour.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
And it's not a great whiskey either, if I dare be so bold to say that. But yeah,
that should be like an off category on OSWAs, but worst whiskey to bottle to pour from.
The dribbler category.
The Jeff whiskey category.
I was thinking, do I get you to pick like on whiskey design, like the best designed bottle? But
I think it's a great idea.
I love it.
I do. I like it because it's not. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily looking for something that's over designed or overly bejeweled or whatever. It's like that was such a simple design what Paris had there. I think it's just how it all sits and how it portrays that brand. And no, I like simple. I think our American is pretty simple.
I feel like there's sometimes, it is really clean, but it's really to the point. It's really well designed. Obviously, the QR code stuff is revolutionary in whiskey, but there's also like brands that they put so much effort into the labels and the design. Obviously, Compass Box is a big one, but like Fable Indie Bottle, their stuff's stunning. Yeah. And the whiskey is fantastic too. It really is, but I just don't think it has enough traction, maybe in the OSWAs, especially.
Maybe I can convince Ralfy to let that slip in there. The best
looking.
If they're foolish enough to give me an envelope to open again, I'm just going to switch it for the best design bottle, and I'm just going to read out what I want to say. So, for the OSWAs 2024 Inspo, so these were I went through and started putting all the bottles in from 2023 and 2022, and then I realized that's going to take a long time, so I'm only showing the 2023 bottles. And then I want to, are people ready? Did you want me to go first to say what my pick for what I would put for this bottle, for this category, sorry. So for best value single malt. So if I do, I'll go first on this one, and then we'll mix it up so everyone's got a chance to go first in case we've got duplicates. And it's just a case of, we'll say what bottles we would like to see. So you might have a list of none, you might have a list of one. on some I've got like 8, and on others I was struggling to get 1. So I'm going to start with my first one. So for best value whiskey, and that is the Black Bottle Smoke and Dagger. And I very much have been slating Black Bottle for a long time. I bought the original bottle off an Instagram recommendation, which I shouldn't have paid attention to, but they were saying how it was the best whiskey ever. So I bought it and I was very disappointed, said never return to Black Bottle. And then this went really cheap. It's often £23, and I want to say it was like 19. And yeah, it's 46.3%. It's non-chill filtered. It's natural color. It's like a really creamy, a slightly smoky, little bit of TCP smoke. It's very balanced. And while you can't see in the bottle, which is a problem, I do like the shimmy of the teal on the label as the color goes across.
It looks great. It's one of these whiskies that has changed throughout its lifetime. It's like the recipe's changed a few times, and therefore people will say, oh, it's the best whiskey ever. I mean, I remember the beginning of my whiskey career, and 20 years ago, there used to be the 14 quid or something, and I loved it. Great. Well, that tells me how old I am.
As I've been pointed out very keenly, that's not a single malt, and you're correct, it's not a single malt, and that bottle was meant to be in a different category, so I've already made my first mistake. So whoever was on the ball, was that Glitz? You were first. Yep, good spot. Did anyone else spot that mistake?
Yeah,
no,
that's true.
Good. I could have got away with that, but no, it was meant to be. Oh no, have I not brought it over to me? I said I'll go first, giving it all the talk. And yes, and my pick was gonna be Ardbeg Wee Beastie. So the 5-year-old single malt Isle of Scotch.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
It's all natural. It's a banging expression of Ardbeg. It was recently on Bezos's site. It was £32. Master Malt had it 33. I think the RRP is 36. So yeah, you can't complain.
That's really.
I should have had the bottle to show you. Ignore Black Bottle. We'll move on swiftly.
Another great looking bottle, by the way. I've got to say, the Wee Beastie. I think I bought it very early on, like a year in. I didn't have an Ardbeg 10 at this point, but just buying it on the bottle's design alone is just it looks great.
Yeah. So Jenny or Rob, who would like to go first? No pressure. If you've got a list, if you've not got any bottles at all, that's not a problem. I won't tell you off.
I'll go next. I'll put it right in front of me. I think I've already given the game away with this one. I think a lot of people, I hopefully will agree with me, but it seems like it's a popular series. And it is the 100 proof. And this is one of my favorites out of the ones I've had so far is the Glentockers. And this is a sulfur bomb, which is, I quite like sulfur in my whiskey. I'm not sure if I said this before or here on the podcast, but it's challenging, but it's unique. It's so much flavor, and the price is unbelievable. And the whole range is 57.1%, and they all sit around that 45 pound mark. The variety is incredible. I don't know how Signature are doing this, undercutting so many indie bottlers at this price. These really decent ages between like 8 and I think 11, maybe 12, 13. They're doing wonders. They really are, and more power to them. It feels like they're listening to us.
No, it's great.
There's a reason Signature, I think, had 3 years in a row. I very nearly picked a Signature bottle as my first one. Jenny, do you have a bottle noted down ready?
So so I don't have any physical bottles here because I'm not in my own house. But now when you said best value, I looked at the best value. I do have a little list, but they're all distilleries own. I didn't even think about going. It's not bad. I work for an indie. But I really like. So I looked at what's under 45, and I am always on a budget. Like I can't justify paying too much for whiskey, and it's partly because I get quite a lot of discount, and I'm lucky where I am and having worked in industry. But I sub 50 or sub 40 I think is great, and it means you can buy it again. So I love Loughlin or Barley. I think is a really nice dram. I like it. So I will go with a Loughlin just for something different. It's under £45, I think, on most websites. But I've also, I think a reliable one for me is Deanston. I quite like Deanston 12. I think it's nice
Yep.
as well. These aren't like, I'm not setting, like I would buy them and be quite happy drinking them all day long, basically. But just for that budget, for sure.
No, they are. I didn't realize Lockley our barley was that cheap. Actually, it's
I
one
think-
that I've always wanted to get. I love the cast
Yeah.
strength.
I think it's sub 45 or 45 or
Yeah.
thereabout.
Yeah,
to-
I think it's a decent price, and I remember I picked it up on offer, of course,
Mhm.
for a really good price. But I think the variety they do and the quality is fantastic. I bought a dram of the peated in the pot still last year, and that I didn't realize what I was drinking, and trying it blind, it really blew my socks off. It was
And that's sometimes what to
unbelievable.
do. I do. It helps. I mean, it's difficult to be in. I guess it helps when you like people that work behind the brands as well. But I do think they do a really good. Our barley is a great dram, for sure.
Yep, that's now just. I've literally, as you were saying that, I've now put it onto my watch list.
Yeah,
You
good.
can get it £43 at Master of Malt.
Yeah, I
There we
knew it
go.
was under 45. Well, that's good. That's
So
grand. Like really
That's
nice
added
distillery as
to
well.
my wait until it goes on a set, even if it's like a quid off. If it's got that red banner saying sale, that's all it takes to lure me in.
Are they tracking their batches on their bottle names? Because I know with the sewing, I believe
Yeah,
that was
don't know.
I had the batch name after it, but I don't know if our barley does that. I'm not
Let's have
sure.
a quick look. Let's try one.
I don't know.
Doesn't
But
look
maybe
like it
somebody in the
on the
chat
our
does.
barley.
Because
It
I feel
doesn't
that's
state
something again
batch.
that I feel like brands are listening to the whiskey fans, and they're not hiding away from low age statements or saying which batch it is or what. I think we want that. We want variety. Like Jenny, you say you love the our barley, but I
Yeah.
guess it's nice to try something that's slightly different or a bit different
Yeah.
recipe or something. I think it's yeah.
Agreed.
That's a great shout. So what I've got, I've tried to formulate the public suggestions. So from the poll,
Oh,
I've not
right.
included numbers like how many people voted for it because I don't want to sway people in any way. This is just the whole game of this stream is to kind of encourage or just give our thoughts from looking outside the normal. Maybe that's a lofty dream of mine, but yeah. So Craigellachie 13 was a clear highest voted, so I put that in bold to show that. And there was the highest amount, I think, of variation. So you had Aaron Quarter Cask, the Glasgow 1770 peated cast strength. The non-cast strength was also on the list. Inji Trini, which was very much, was that the hype bottle of last year, would you say? Was it the year before where everyone was raving about it? And was that a really cheesy whiskey? Am I correct in thinking that?
It was late last year, and it definitely set the heather alight, so to speak. It got a lot. I think I tried to buy a bottle, and it was already out of stock when I went to look for it. It was I think I actually won, or it was voted very highly, at least in Roy's Glasgow Whisky Festival blind tasting. The cracker.
Yeah, that's where I tried it, and that's when I thought it was very cheesy. But my tasting,
I think I've heard other people say it referred to as quite a cheesy whiskey, so that's not wrong. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Normally, I felt at the Glasgow Whisky Festival during the blind tasting, I let my team, as we were called, the slappers down. I was so off the mark. Luckily, I think we had Kevin Grant on Whiskey. Let's Talk Whiskey had, I think he got a full score, so he carried the slappers for me. You've also got Lecheg Rioja Cask, which I think is a stunning whiskey. I think you can get that for like 30, maybe I want to say 38. Maybe that's offer price, but that's amazing. Loch Lomond Inchmurrin 12.
Amazing
So
bottle.
is that the peated one or is that not?
No, Inchmurrin's the non-peated. The standard is got a little bit of peat, and then the Inchmowen is the fully peated. But again, like these, like I think I saw it again on offer, I will say. But I think the 12-year-old Inchmurrin was like 30 quid. And
oh, wow.
That's very good.
Just, unbelievable.
Yeah,
The flavour is so nice. And I tried to avoid Loch Lomond. I wasn't sure if that was on the cheat sheet or not, but that was my first pick for this category was the Inchmurrin.
Let's have a gander. If you can hear clicking, let me know if it's too noisy.
No, it's all good.
I'm having to use a different keyboard. My daughter loves to draw on Microsoft Paint. So she'll come in and she's taken a liking to my little keyboard that I keep over here. So I'm not too sure where it is at the moment.
My
Yeah, so-
daughter nicks my mice and keyboards often.
Do you ever find them in like a cage saying you got to put the mice in the cage, or is that?
No, they're definitely hidden somewhere.
Yeah, so you got and Lockley R. Barley. So you're a person with taste, Jenny. Lots of people have joined you on that one.
Nice.
And then there was 19 other votes, not including. So if someone voted for a bottle that was in either 2023 or 2022, I've kind of not included that just to see how much variation we can get on top of different bottles. So yes, there's 19 more, which I've not included on this list, which haven't appeared last year or the year before. So I think there's plenty of scope for new bottles in this category. And then we'll move on to best blended whiskey. So let's move on down. I think I've already showed my one. Yep. Did you want me to go first? You both know what it is, but shall I? I was going to say, shall I reveal myself? But that's
Remind us.
Pay extra for that one. That's for the members only.
Was
that your was the black bottle your only pick?
No, so I do have others. So Black Bottle Smoke and Dagger was my main pick for best blended whiskey. And then I did also have the Bittersweet Symphony, the turntable bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, good show.
Which is 49 quid, 46%. It's a very sherry led, like rum and raisin, I think that one was, and that's my favorite. I really enjoyed all the turntables apart from one, and I can't remember which one it is. Purple Haze, which was very I think it was too sulfuric for me. It was very like burnt match. But Bittersweet Symphony, even though that one again was sherry led, it just that was my jam.
Yeah. They're good as well.
Would anyone like to present first in front of the class?
I'll let Jenny go first this time.
I know, so this was the one category. I mean, it's terrible, isn't it? But best blended whiskey, and I wasn't to pick anything that's on there, but I'm part of the blending team. I love the McLean Snows. Like, I can't help it. I love it. I cannot not love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, let's not pick that one. Of course I can't. I actually put Black Bottle down, but I didn't. That's again because that's the blend that I've always had through my whiskey drinking years, and not so much recently, to be fair. But it's the best blend was my shortest list. It was those two. I'm sorry, it was really disappointing. But there were so many. Like, have you seen the Whiskey Magazine has just released a YouTube film, 45-minute long, about blended whiskey, and I should have probably figured out what it was called before I started talking about it. But it's on YouTube, and they're talking to a few people about blended Scotch, and there's some really cool new whiskies out there. Blended Scotch is definitely coming back in fashion, and I think it's a lot to do with what people want. Actually, what the OSWA's done, people want to be able to afford whiskey again. Good whiskeys that it doesn't have to be repeat. It can be different batches, and that's something that I think we should celebrate. I love it. I think it's a great, exciting category, and I really enjoy that film.
Oh no, I'll try find that, and what I'll do, I'll put that when I find that, I'll put the link to that in the description once it's gone live. I don't dare do it now. I'm pushing my countryside internet to the max already. And we've had quite a few good comments coming in. I did star them, I guess. So you got Inverness Whiskey Shop. I love when I keep getting pop-up, sorry. I love when any favourite lists are put forward. When you say one that someone else has forgotten, that noise appreciation. Yeah,
that was me at turntable, I think, as well. But and the chat as well went the same. Yeah,
and this
is what whiskey's cool though. Like we do all have memories and passions and related to various whiskies.
I just love it when it's when somebody gets excited about something that you've either never tried or you've only had one pour or something, and they really seem waxing lyrical. I mean, like the Cutty Sark Prohibition.
Yeah.
Jeff, like, I don't think really anybody heard about that, but it's just people should be having this on their shelf. It's so affordable and a great bottle.
Yeah, actually, it is the Ardrey by Beams and Tony. That's the film. It was about the Ardrey blended Scotch. They obviously sponsored the film, but it is a really good film. It's recently out. It's worth a watch.
I'll make a note of that to add it in. I think that bottle appears possibly in a list coming up, not to give anything away. No, it doesn't. I saw that on Instagram. I'm getting confused. It doesn't take much at this time of night. And Whiskey Molly saying about Glasshouse. Have you all tried Glasshouse, the blended malt from Loch Lomond?
I haven't. I've never tried it, and it's one of those that I'm a bit ashamed to say because Loch Lomond are doing some incredible stuff with their blended whiskies, and it just hasn't really just come across.
Agreed.
My dram, yeah.
I will say I tried it. I almost brought a bottle based on what people said about it, and I tried it as a sample, and it didn't quite do it for me based on all the hype. So I didn't get a bottle. I've seen they rebranded, and it looks a lot cheaper of a bottle now, so I'm less inclined to buy it.
It's a shame that rebrand. It's not really. It doesn't really work as well. I think the original or the rebranded one. I think it was. Is it a brand new bottle or is it a legacy bottle they brought back? But either way, the first one, the first new one, was much nicer.
And we've got.
I was just reading.
Oh, there it is. Sorry. The blue and white Tesco label. So that may appear later. Gav's Dram saying woven. I've seen them pop up. They almost look like an aftershave bottle, I think, or they're quite modern. Like they could be a modern candle company, but I've not dived into that. So Gav's recommending them.
They do look great. Like they must have. They do look like a little like hand soap dispenser bottle.
Yeah,
or something,
that's exactly a hand soap. The kind of thing you buy in a shop that seems too expensive to sell soap at.
Another great branding job as well. The label is great, but I keep seeing them pop up more and more. I thought it was a small little outturn at first, but there seems to be more and more options getting put out there. So
yeah, and we've also got Whiskey Friend, Thompson Burrows, the Tesco bottle. I like that's what it's been referred to as now. Yeah, so is it North? Is it a North Highland is referred to as blended malt?
That's right.
So we'll see what. Have I asked you what your picks are?
I've still got mine to go.
Oh, Rob's still to go.
It's all good.
Rob, fire away. Sorry, I got too excited talking.
No,
about
that's fine. This
Tesco
is exciting.
bottle.
It's always interesting to hear what the chat's got to say as well, because I think they're probably much better picks than I do, at least.
Reveal yourself.
I'll say that for the end. So this was a small category for me. I think blended is again because there's so many ones that are really good ones that have already been picked in the past 2 years of the OSWAs. It's difficult to try and find something new. Like I had Thompson Burrows, TB BSW, and McLean's Nose in this category as well. But one that I went back and looked at my previous submissions for the OSWAs, my own personal votes, and I'd forgotten I put this in, and I've got to say I'm really glad I get to talk about it now. So I tried this in a bar, and I'd heard about the brand before. The bottle design is great, which it obviously is going to catch me, but it's a bit different. It's High West Campfire. And it's a bit similar to something what you've already spoken about on your channel, Jeff. It's a bourbon, a rye, that's been blended with a peated Islay Scotch.
Oh,
There's a really like detailed, like very eloquent story in the back of the label. And I'll do the footnotes, but essentially the owner, the manufacturer of the blender, I'm not sure. They were on a trip on Islay. They were at Bruichladdich, I believe. Let me just scan. Yeah, Bruichladdich, and they could smell somebody cooking with the Islay peat and to make it into some sort of sauce. And I believe they had it on some sort of dessert or something for their whiskey, their Islay lunch. And he thought, well, why can't I do that with bourbon? Why can't I mix the sweetness of bourbon and the peatness of Islay and put it in a bottle? And he has, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's not cheap. It's not the cheapest blend. I think it's about, obviously with the shipping and taxes and stuff, I think it comes out about 70 odd quid. I got this on offer, of course. And another thing I think is a little rare for bourbons, or of very common bourbons at least, is they're very open with the batches as well, especially for the core range stuff. So I think there is a lot of batch variation, which is great. But yeah, this is definitely one I think people should try, and it's something a bit different as well.
never tried it.
Yeah, and you've got someone saying how it's a great bottle, and I'm assuming it's quite rare to see a sighting of it. So Matthew's saying it's a great bottle, and then interestingly, Sean says that High West sold so bad at his work that they had to clearance bottles to 60% off to get rid of them. So
Well, I didn't
you
have it
should
that low.
gone-
That is that's devastating.
Let us know what your shop is.
Yes, please. But
So-
it's I found this because I got into. We all go through ebbs and flows of different things. I think it may be for seasonally for me as well. In the summer, I kind of go towards more bourbons, and then I started going into more ryes and experiment with that. I had a Elijah Craig rye. Again, it was a really cheap bottle, but it's a really good one. And then High West was highly recommended. It's again the label is fantastic, and also the glass is. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. There's a lot of like air bubbles in the glass itself. It's meant to look a bit more rustic and
proper old school
vintage. Yeah, the cork is big, chunky wooden cork. It's great. Highly recommend.
It's like a cowboy dram.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I've got visions of you just putting on a pair of like classic cowboy boots and a hat and just sitting alone drinking that.
A can of baked beans.
I wish I could pull that off.
Old beans. This is the bottle lots of people have talked about, the Tesco bottle. I know. I don't know. Has yours turned up yet, Rob?
It's just turned up today, and I hope my missus isn't still watching this live upstairs.
Who has a daughter called Charlie? Is there somebody that's got a daughter called Charlie? No, because there was a comment about somebody saying watching from Charlie or something.
Is that I've got my newborn son Charlie?
Oh, yeah. That's so cute. Well, it was watching.
Oh, I've missed that one. I was going to say, no, I don't have a child called Charlie that I know of.
I had to think as well.
I can find that comment for you.
It was earlier on. Sorry, and I was meant to ask in the chat, but I forgot.
So you got your fan staying up late for you. Oh,
yeah.
Is that right?
Oh dear. Sorry, not sorry.
It was.
And she took the delivery. Well, there you go. Busted.
Yeah. When I saw it,
I will say you can blame me for that one because I was very much singing its praises. So blame me. You can say it's all for that sad man in the shirt and shades.
It's when you I sat at work and the doorbell camera went off on my phone and just like flop sweat kicked in.
So let's see what the people voted for best blended whiskey. So the top one, most votes, was Compass Box Hedonism, which is
fantastic bottle.
A Compass Box. That's not. Is that the purple coloured one?
Yeah, that's just been rebranded as well. I think it's a bit more gold now, but that is unbelievable. That was one of the first grains I'd ever had, and it tastes like chocolate ice cream to me.
Yeah, that's a popular one in the industry. Everybody raves about it.
Nice.
Worth.
It seems to be one of the Compass Boxes that's not appeared in the OSWAs yet. So it's quite and there's a fair few people voting for it. Like I'd say 10% of every vote maybe in this category was for that. Yeah, that's about right in my head. Black Bottle, the Alchemy series. So that does include the Smoke and Dagger. Is it Andrian Oak, which is meant to be amazing. Doers Illegal Smooth. So that had quite a few. I think that had 3 votes still, that one. So I should have possibly put that in bold. But yeah, not one I've tried. If there's anything when I'm listing out that you think, yeah, that's a banger. Leaf 5-year-old Rioja cast. That I had to look that one up and that sounded amazing. I did make a note of the price on that one, but I can't find it. I don't think. That's okay. The Wee Mongrels. Has anyone had any LBD Little Brown Dog?
I've had LBD before, but not the Wee Mongrel, but I've heard a lot about it. And it's the one that's on the hit list. But I won't be buying any more whiskey for the foreseeable future. For anyone who's listening.
I don't think that was very convincing, to be honest.
And the best Oscar goes to.
We've got Roy defending you, saying it's only £35, but he still owes you a nice takeout. So I think I'm quite fortunate how I possibly every day I bore my wife with me talking about whiskey. So I don't think she would like the idea of streaming, listening to me on the computer as well as every day. So I can get away saying that I spend. No, I don't spend anything. Whiskey's great.
Well, I think our wives are the best tasting notes as well.
Yeah. Does she enjoy smelling? I always to my wife.
I'm not sure. Enjoy is the right word. I normally just throw it under her nose and see what the reaction's like. But she's always very amenable and comes up with some belters as well. So
yeah, often my wife will put me to shame. So she doesn't drink alcohol pretty much at all. Occasionally, when we first met, it was Disaronno and Coke, so just Dr Pepper.
Great cocktail.
And yes, that was as far as. So it's always interesting to hear what she finds in whiskey. Because whiskey, yeah, I've tried and it's not her thing at all. But I've got whiskey, she's got puzzles. So, we're already a 90-year-old couple together.
It's a great combination, whiskey and puzzling.
We've got Kyle saying the Jew is illegal is some of the best hooch he's had. So I've not even come across, that's not been on my radar at all. So I'm going to have to keep my eyes open for that. North Star the Fool, I really wanted that. That was under £30. But I've not. Either of you tried that one? I saw a lot of praise online, but I never got to it.
No.
And I got a new channel member. I'm sure I'm going to pronounce your name awfully, so I can only apologize. But Yuri, is that an I or an L? Yeah, Mogio. Totally sure I butchered that, so I can only apologize.
That'll be my guess too.
Thank you so much for joining the Bottle Slayer Club. It's really wonderful to have support. Make the most of the emojis and whatever you want to do, really. This channel exists because I'm being helped by you lot, so thank you. And we've got Watchman saying, is this any way to spend your holiday? I completely agree, Roy. You should not be putting yourself through this. This is your night away. Go and play. Don't put yourself up listening to what I have to say.
Withdrawal symptoms.
Yes, it is. Yeah. His hands start shaking at around 9 p.m. on a Thursday, ready to click the mouse. We've got 2 turntables. So there was Smoking Riff and Purple Haze. Someone earlier said Purple Haze was their jam. Sorry, I've missed your comment and not highlighted it. But yeah, for me, Smoking Riff, I think, was better than Purple Haze. But turntable are just... They're so transparent is what I like, is how they say what percentage is in the mix. And seeing some, I've been like, that shouldn't be for me, but it has just blown me away.
Yeah. I really like the way they presented their brand as well. I think it's a great, it just works the way they like it. If you told me about it, it would be like, oh no, that sounds really gimmicky. I don't know if you should do that. But then it comes out, and I love Ali. Ali and his brother are doing it, Stevenson, and they think they're just genuine guys as well. They like whiskey, and they've just come up with this idea. They like music and whiskey, and let's do it together. They're that generation as well, and yeah, I love the way the shape of the bottle looks and the labels, and yeah, they've done great.
And the little etched engraved cork, and they are. I think
so many little details.
Yeah, and I'm a sucker for music, so the little connection there as well. Just that is a jam for me.
Yeah,
I've currently got. I want to say it's on one. I can't remember what this whiskey shop was now, but I've got Bittersweet Symphony and the other one in my basket. So depending how many drams I get through tonight means it may get checked out.
Well, let me return the favor. The Bittersweet Symphony is a fantastic bottle. You need to buy it.
Well, there you go.
Before it goes, because I think they've just released their 3rd series. And I think I think it was actually you recommended, because I think when you got to try the 3.
Yeah.
The second release. That was the one that you picked, and so graciously shared the Smoking Riff with me as well. But the Bittersweet Symphony went incredibly fast.
So we've got Ali is pretty solid career, blending under Billy Walker and Glenn Dronach and Glenn Alecky. So he's done the time, I think it's fair to say, and it definitely shows in the amazing whiskey. Alan saying I'll let someone else say that because I'll get stuck on that word.
Bittersweet Symphony is cracking.
It is. For some reason, it's always a nightmare me trying to sing along to that song.
That's not sing.
That's again. I won't put. I sang enough to you last time, Jenny, singing "Happy Birthday." I don't want to put anyone else through that.
I'm missing the singing.
So we're flying on down to best blended malt. So last year the winner was Campbelltown Lock. Going by the poll, not to give anything away, I've not included it, but Campbelltown Lock would have won again in the poll massively if I allowed it. A vast majority went for it. So many good bottles. Would anyone like to go first, or do you want me to go show myself first? Anyone feeling confident in their pick and ready to praise it?
Well, I don't have my bottle with me. I'll just get through mine quickly. I love my bottle immensely. It was actually a really hard category to pick, but the one I ended up picking is gone very recently. And another fantastic blend by Loch Lomond Group. And mine was the Noble Rebel Hazelnut Harmony. And I got to try all three of that initial launch. I'm not sure. I feel like we've heard that more are coming. But the Hazelnut Harmony for me was incredible. A really good dram.
Was the Noble Rebels the one that sent it out in like little card envelopes or something? I think in the samples, was it that company did that?
I feel it's ringing a bell. What you're saying, like the little sleeves.
Yeah,
but I didn't get any of those unfortunately. But I tried them at the Leeds Whiskey Festival, and yeah, really, really good. I mean, it's Loch Lomond. I mean, what more do we have to say?
So is it fully all done within Loch Lomond? Is it like a mixture of like the Inchmere and the Inchmere, or is it?
It's the Loch Lomond group. So I know the one I had Glen Scotia in it. Yeah, and I'm a massive Glen Scotia fan as well, so that helped.
Yeah. Do you want to go with your picks, Jenny? Did you have a pick for best blended malt?
So it's difficult because I put the last one I tried. I really enjoyed, but blended malts. I have this sort of. We were actually. I don't know if I can give this away. I'm sure I can. There's not a problem with that. If it is, then I'm sorry, Alex. Our McLean's Nose was meant to be a blended malt when the conception came about, and we were talking about it, and we just felt that the category was too difficult to sell and too difficult to explain. It takes a little bit of education in selling in that. And then obviously the price went up through the roof on raw materials, and we wanted it to be an affordable whiskey. So I think Alex just decided that, well, why we're looking ourselves down to by focusing on being a blended malt, why can we not just do another blended Scotch? So we ended up doing McLean's Nose instead. And I never really looked back. So for some reason, like the blended malts category isn't something I'm focused on. So but I used to work for Weems, and I remember because at that point I was selling blended malt, and that was really difficult. This is 2012, and they had the Peat Chimney and Hive, which is all like with honeybees, and
Hive is great.
It was all about explaining the whiskey with pictures, and again, that was maybe a little bit ahead of their time because it was so difficult. It was really difficult to explain in Germany and in France that it's not single malt whiskey. It's not from one single distillery, but it is single malt whiskey from different single malt distilleries. And it was just that sort of the effort that it took. But on that note, I am quite a fan of blended peated malts. So I put Elements of Islay. I like the Elements drams. I think can do you know, like, I think they're quite reliable, like really quite decent. But again, it would have to be a colder season. So, I mean, not in the summertime. But yeah, that would be my probably choice. I mean, I love Campbelltown Lock as well. I mean, you can't not. Anyway, yeah, sorry, that was not a very quick answer to your question.
No, that's good.
It's a great category, but it takes a lot of education, and it is a difficult one. That's from an industry side, what to do. But obviously, since you've said about the turntable and alley, and I think that what they do is great as well. So big fan.
You've got Eve's just asking, so McLean's Nose has grain or so.
McLean's Nose is not a blended malt at all. It was a blended Scotch, yes. So please don't let me confuse you. But we were talking about maybe having it as a blended malt instead of a.
So I'm glad you pronounced. Is it Weems first?
Weems, yeah.
That's good, because I was going to read it out later and say Wemys.
That's what I would say. Every day's a
It's
school day.
fine. Yeah, the
I've
women.
heard, yeah, that's more my speed. I think the WMS is, but
Yeah.
the Velvet Fig. I've seen so much praise for. I've always looked
Mm-hmm.
at Peat Chimney. I've seen it, but it's not one I kind of hear talked about.
No, I think it's the
yeah.
price, maybe potentially that's
Hmm.
putting them off. But yes, I mean there are some incredible, like Weems Untold Riches, like that was phenomenal, absolutely. But again, I couldn't afford buying a bottle of it.
Was the Untold Riches? I could be very wrong here, but was that a Buna Harbin predominantly or something? That how it was spelt wrong? Am I thinking of something else?
I can't remember the story behind it. Sorry.
I'm probably wrong, but there was a bottle that was Buna Harbin and it was spelt wrong, and I thought it was Untold Riches, but I could be wrong.
No, I would have to find it. I'm sorry, I can't remember the story behind that.
No, that's no worries.
Yeah, you are correct. They say yes. Yeah. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
So that's good. It's very rarely I'm correct, so I'm just going to screenshot that and print it. And so I had an awful lot of picks for this. Blended malt seems to be the bottles that I gravitate to. Not
Am I
like
getting into trouble? I was just looking at the chat. Did I say something wrong there? It was.
I don't believe so.
Oh no, maybe I did confuse people about McLean's nose. I hope I didn't.
No, I think everything's.
There is grain. Yes, there's 30% grain whiskey in there from a lowland distillery. Yeah.
Good. We're all good. It's normally me who confuses things. So my pick, and I've seen someone else mention this in the list. If I can find it and just scroll, keep talking so people don't know that I'm panicking as I try to find it.
Well,
there it is. Someone with great taste. Seumas Beastie, 18-year-old. So yeah, that is.
Yes.
A phenomenal.
How could we not have Dougie Lang here?
Good shout.
So the 18-year-old is, I believe it's probably Helen Andy who persuaded me to purchase it, because Aberdeen Whiskey Shop, I want to say, had it on sale for £56. So I was like, yeah.
For an 18-year-old.
Let's go for it. And I could be wrong, and I'm highly wrong all the time, but someone said it was predominantly a teaspoon Dalmore with just a few other little things, or it's predominantly Dalmore. So that's right for me. I'm a sucker for Dalmore. That is my soft spot, my guilty pleasure. That was the kind of brand that really got me to dive deep into whiskey. But yeah, it is that this bottle just tickles my pickle, and it's one that it's at the line now where I don't want to drink anymore, because once it crosses the halfway point in my head, the timer starts.
Oh gosh, yeah. You don't leave it. No, that'd be rude.
I do get nervous, because I always think, like, doing Whiskey Tube, I always feel like I need the bottle to bring out. So like doing a live stream like this, or if I'm doing a video, I always feel like, I need to refer back to this bottle. So I think I can't get rid of it. So then I can't drink it, but I want to drink it, but I might need it for content, and I can't afford to get another. So it's a vicious cycle, Whiskey Tube. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
So you buy 70 cl bottles, but you only drink 30 cl.
Yeah, that's pretty much
or
it.
Even 20.
And then they just take up more and more space where I have no room left. And I did have a few follow-up bottles for this one. So Malt Riot, so that's the Glasgow 1770. It's a 40% blended malt, and I had that as a blind tasting, and I was so sure that was Bimber, because for me, Bimber has this real unique melon note, and I just got that, and it's just like liquid melon, so that was lovely. Shackleton, which the bottle is somewhere, but that was the bottle I got possibly cheapest. I think was that £12. I got that from Co-op one time.
Wow.
And then a bottle which is absolutely delightful, and that is the Wee Brune Electric Coup, which is
Roy has my bottle
now
of that still. I haven't been back for it, so I need to get that off him.
I was going to say, Roy also, he messaged me after the Campbelltown VPub and said, I got a bottle for you. You did want one, didn't you? And I wasn't going to say no to that, was I?
Yeah, I straight away wanted a bottle, so he got me one as well.
And not to tease anyone who hasn't been able to get it, but it is. I've only had maybe 2 small glasses so far, but both times it's been okay. I'm going to stop what I'm doing now, and I'm just going to sit down and drink this.
That's a good sign.
So I think we're flying through nicely.
I was going to say, sorry, just because I've already got one pick left.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Just to throw it in there, just because I think it's something that I didn't want to pick because I feel like you see compass box all the time, but I'm surprised this hasn't gotten through yet. And it was my other pick was a Flaming Heart.
Oh,
Flaming Hearts.
Yeah.
What is the Flaming Heart? 'Cause I've seen that one a lot, but I have no clue about it.
So it's another one that's obviously really good with the batch variation. But it's heavily peated. I've only had one expression, and the content escapes me. It's always very complex and very detailed. Obviously, it's all on the website, but it was one of those bottles that Jeff, you and I, when we were talking about our 30th bottle picks, that was one that was quite high up the list of potentials. And I have tried a sample. You can get samples online, but yeah, it's definitely
it's a really nice. I appreciate the different batches as well. I think it's nice that there is a difference.
Yeah, so currently they're on batch 6, bottled at 48.9%. All the good stuff, natural color, non-chill filtered. Tell me their details. Oh, it's all very small. So there's some Kleinish in there, some Kalila.
That sounds right.
Mats Kleinish, yeah. Deanston, a Highland malt blend, and then Spice Tree
Extravaganza.
Parcel. Yeah, you know the words. Thank you. You can tell it's getting late when my stutter's kicking in.
I love the fact that they're actually blending in their own blends. And I just think it's such a cool little idea.
It's highly sustainable. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Recycling.
Yeah.
But it almost wants me to go and buy those bottles as well to be like, oh, can I actually pick out that blend in this blend? But
absolutely.
And so for what the people voted, so Thompson Bros, North Highland 8. So that this wonderful Tesco bottle was by far the bottle of the moment.
So you're saying it's a must buy, Jeff?
I would say it's certainly not crap, and it definitely does slap. It is, yeah. I've only had a very small pour though, so my review on it's not a just review of the bottle, but from my small pour, it was like, oh, isn't it Glenord and Kleinish, I want to say?
50-50, I think.
So
I just need you to help me justify my purchase.
Yeah, it's a great purchase. You won't go wrong. And in fact, it'll be the last whiskey you ever need. Is that the right thing to say?
Yes, definitely.
Or is that the wrong thing to say?
No, that's exactly what needs to be said. That's absolutely, yeah.
So we've got an Elements of Isla. So you speak for the people, Jenny.
Oh, again, honestly.
Yeah.
I did not.
Was it just you filling out my poll multiple times? And then you've got Compass Box Art and Decadence. That's not one I've heard of, but I think 2 people put that forward.
No, I don't.
So I could be wrong. Let's have a quick look. Oh no, I can't get the poll up. And then you've got the Scallywag 12 cask strength. I love this Scallywag. I believe, did I leave with you, Rob, the chocolate Scallywag?
I still have them. I was going to bring them up at Glasgow.
I was going to say, feel free to have them and tell me what they're like. But yeah, Scallywag is a phenomenal range for me. I've really enjoyed every Scallywag, but I've not had the cask strength. And then you've got the classic of Monkey Shoulder. Oh, clicked on the wrong thing. I was revealing all my secrets. Old Perth 12 and the cask strength. So I've tried. Is there a non-age statement, Old Perth? I want to say there is.
Yeah.
So that's the only one I've tried. I think that was a pour and sip sample. So you may have also tried it.
Yeah, I think it was a cask strength. That was a non-age statement, I think.
So I think that was good, but I can't remember enough about it. So I don't feel confident to chat away. And then you have sorry, my speech has gone awful tonight. The Velvet Fig.
Weems.
Yeah, so I think what we'll do, Jenny, either you're seeing 10 minutes into the future or
I don't know. That's
you're just a person of good taste. That's all it is. So
and maybe just have the same taste as everybody else. Is that a good thing? I don't know.
Finger on the pulse.
Yeah, that's what it is. Finger on the pulse. So Alistair Gray, good evening. Thank you for joining. Sorry, my speech is horrendous at the moment. Watchman 999. Elements Isla is a great range in general. Is one called Isla Cask or something?
Mhm.
Oh, so I've seen that one pop up a lot on offer. So it's been one I kind of glanced at on my many, many lists of offers that pop up.
Yeah, there's the Islay cask, there's the sherry cask, and then there's the bourbon cask, I think.
I can't remember. That's terrible.
Yeah, and then we've got so on Compass Box, the Spice Tree. So is it Spice Tree and the Story of the Spaniard is being let go? Have you two got any thoughts on either of them two? I've not tried either. I've got a sample of the Spaniard, but I've not tried it yet.
I've tried them both. Only in sample. I got the 5cl tasting pack, and I'm a bit surprised about that because that's one. Those are two of the three entry levels, or like at least their core ranges. I would have thought, but interesting. They're mixing it up. I think the Compass Box do some really cool stuff. I mean, they've done it before with the what was it called? The 4 Oak, was it? That got discontinued. So it's cool that they're comfortable with mixing things up.
Yeah, because I think from what I can tell, Orchard House seems to be the go-to Compass Box now, or that seems to be what I see on social media and all that lot. And for me, Orchard House is the best Compass Box.
Sorry, Whisker one was just correcting me. It's Oak Cross. That was one that got discontinued. That was a popular one. But I think you're right, Jeff. It's Orchard House. It really again set the header alight in the recent years. So and justifiably as well. It was a great bottle. Perfect summer dram.
And so you got Sean. I love the Spaniard. I love any use of VDN. What's VDN? I'm showing my VD. I was going to say it's a virgin.
Spaniard uses wine cask.
Let's see.
Do that?
I can't. I'm trying to quickly Google, but I can't spell anything. I put the Spiniard Compass Box. Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. If you it'll be quicker, Sean. If you can pop that in, what that is, save me searching it because all my skills have completely lost me tonight. And I think if we're all happy, we'll quickly fly on to. We covered this one yet? To the best non-malt whiskey. So there's plenty of picks to pick from, but I don't know. I'm happy to go first. I don't have the bottle. I did order it especially for today, and sadly, it's not turned up. So avoiding like your Blue Spot, the ones that are not appearing on this image is the Redbreast 12 cash strength, 4 Roses single barrel, and what's the one that's missing? I think that's everyone because there's a lot of repeats between this year and last year. But it was Meloncorn. Mellow. Yeah, Meloncorn. That's it. Not Meloncorn.
Meloncorn sounds great.
Yeah. Meloncorn
Naranja. Sean is just telling you what VDN means. Vino de Naranja. That sounds orange wine. My Spanish isn't that great.
No, that's very. I can't even speak English, as you can tell. So let alone a second language. But yeah, so I went for Meloncorn because some people say it's a bit of a gimmick whiskey. I think it's stunning. It is boiled corn on the cob. And who doesn't like that? Like that's a starter whiskey.
Yeah,
if you're having a nice meal, you don't need to go Nando's to get the char-grilled corn, and you can just get a bottle of 50% bottled in bong. Bottled in bong? Oh my god, this is not going well for me tonight. I've barely drunk anything either. That's the problem, probably. Bottled
great.
in bond. Yeah, and this RRP is 30 quid in the UK. I paid £23, but sadly it hasn't turned up. But that's okay. That's something exciting to come to later. And I was going to follow up with one that I do have, and that's Maker's Mark. This one is the 46, where I do enjoy, but I think I prefer the standard Maker's Mark. This is the old bottle shape, and they have now changed it. And 25 quid is the RRP in the UK, and I've seen the standard Maker's Mark go for 20 quid, which is just phenomenal in my opinion.
I didn't realize it was that cheap. 25 for the 74.
So you can get Yes, this was on offer. The 46 was on offer. I think, sorry, this was on offer for 30 recently, the 46, but the standard Maker's Mark, which is the one I prefer.
Sorry, got you. Yeah,
is the secret. It's right. I've confused you. I wanted to have a bottle to hold, and it's like, this is the first
got
time
very excited.
But yeah, it's I'm not so much a fan of the squat bottles, but
and
you've got Whiskey 101 agreeing me, which is good. And he prefers the 46 to the standard. I think it's because for me, I had the standard Maker's Mark on we couldn't do a honeymoon because we got married kind of during that whole funny time when people were locked inside. So our honeymoon was cancelled. So we managed to do like a little mini moon to the Isle of Scilly, or the Scilly Isles. And we went there for a day, and on the beach, there was a bar, and the only whiskey they had was Maker's Mark. So we sat up on like a cliff top grass, looking over to the sea with a glass of Maker's Mark. It'll always be a special one to me.
Sounds beautiful.
But enough of my sob story. Who would like to fly next? Who's feeling confident in their non-malt whiskey skills or not feeling confident?
I'm just going to straight up say this is not my strongest category. I think I've said that now 3 times, but definitely not in this equation. Having worked part of my career with Brian Foreman, is the American company that owns Jack Daniels. I remember always looking at that the staff price list and how great the American whiskies there were really reasonable. I did actually buy a bottle of Woodford Reserve once, but and it was really drinkable, and I just can't get into the category. I know it's terrible, but I need to keep trying. I'm just looking at the comments, what's coming up. It doesn't have to be obviously bourbon in this category. It can be anything that isn't malt, but I just need to get better at trying those things.
You just haven't found the right bottle yet, Jenny. That's all.
That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is it. And I'm happy to take any pointers. I'm looking at the chat, and I'd love to hear what you have.
Well, McLoughlin is $10 in the US. If you ever find yourself that way, that's mad.
That is mad. That's dangerous.
So, can you beat Jenny's invisible bottle of my melon corn, as I will now call it?
Well, I'll try my best. This was such a huge category, and in the past, I've always gone for Redbreast just because it's a soft spot in my whiskey journey. One of the first whiskey distilleries I really connected with outside of Scotch. But I have been going back to bourbon more and rye quite a bit. So in the past, again, looking back to my previous votes, I've always picked Pikesville Straight Rye as my my go-to, and it is quite it's not cheap in the UK, but it's a great bottle. It looks fantastic as well. I think we've spoken about this before on your channel. It has the flat side, so it can't, if it falls over, it won't roll, which I love. It's great. But the one I picked is a recommendation from a good friend of mine and a barfly, Stefan Novak, and it is the Buffalo Trace Kosher series, and this one I picked is the wheat recipe. This is a great price as well. It's about 40 quid in the UK. I think there's a lot of people in the US who are struggling to find these, but we seem to have a lot of this in stock. There's the wheat recipe, there's the rye, and then there's the rye recipe. And essentially these are all of the famous Buffalo Trace mash bills, but just unbranded. So this is actually, I think this is a Weller, or this is the same mash bill a Weller uses. So if you can't find a famous Buffalo Trace, get yourself a kosher, because it is fantastic. And I've never tried a Weller, so I don't know how it compares, but yeah, it's a really good bottle for the price.
Oh, that's good to know. I've tried Weller and I was really impressed by it. I want to say it was a blue label, if that's any help. I don't really know my Wellers off my head, but yeah.
That sounds like to be a good one, actually. I feel like the red one, I think the standard one's red, I think. But I'll send you some samples, Jeff. I've got this one on the rye recipe, and they're great.
I'm a big fan of Buffalo Trace. That was always my go-to in Wetherspoons. Was always you can get Buffalo Trace cheap.
It's great the fact that you can see it's sort of available as well in the UK. I feel like it's like 18 quid at the supermarket.
And we've got Stevio Circumstance. So that is my local distillery, Bristol. All bottles are just phenomenal. They had a really good deal on Master and Malt, of a Master and Malt release of a Circumstance 3-year-old, but unfortunately that disappeared before I could buy that deal. But So get some inspiration. This is what the people voted for.
Yeah.
There you go. So Maker's Mark 46, the cash strength version, was the winner by quite a long way.
Okay.
The Nika coffee grain.
Great bottle.
There was lots of Millstone. The only one I put forward was the Millstone 10 rye, which had multiple. There was 100 rye. Maybe that's the same one. I'm not sure. Millstone. I'm a big fan of Millstone. I've really enjoyed the PX peated they have. And I believe I've tried a rye from them, but I can't remember it because I am that professional at this job.
Millstone was your whiskey of the year, right?
Yep, it was the Millstone. I can just about see it. The shade's going to have to come off because it's very dark behind me. Millstone, the single malt Dutch whiskey, 4-year-old, which was a peated PX, which is just amazing. And Blackfen agreeing, Millstone rye is a good call. So we got Donna Passwick saying Bullet is a brand, not distillery. Yep. You are bang on. I tried to include, if people didn't say what the bottles were, I just included them in the lower list, but that one did get through. I think it's the Bullet 10, the one that you can often get. Someone mentioned Bain's single grain in the chat earlier, and I did flag it, but now I can't find it. But yeah, that is, have you two tried that? That is just a banana milkshake of a whiskey.
No, but that sounds fantastic.
So when I was chatting to my colleagues and teammates in our WhatsApp chat about the OSWAs, how I was going to be on here, a couple of people in the group mentioned and said, why is this category in the OSWAs? Because it's quite wide and maybe it doesn't need to be in there. And I'm just putting the question out there because somebody else said they can't get into this sort of category. So I don't know. Is it in there because it's a drink that I don't know. Is it in there because the online Scotch Whisky Awards, isn't it?
Yeah, but it is.
Yeah,
no, it's a valid point. Which
I'm just like jabbing here. But I don't get me wrong. I absolutely must learn more about it. I'm clearly not good at this category. But does it need to be in there, or does it just make it more difficult, or is the people that drink these type of whiskies also drink the single malt Scotch whiskey? I don't know.
I think it's so I agree. It's a huge category. And it's always been difficult. And again, it has that it's a similar effect of the Springbank effect, where the most popular, most common whiskies, because people don't know what to vote for, and often it's a category that people don't vote for. They'll just leave it blank. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and all the same stuff goes to the top, and the most common bottles, like the Redbreasts, they take over.
Yeah,
these categories. So, yeah, I think it deserves to be spoken about in some respect, because we're all the majority of us are whiskey curious, and we do enjoy a lot of the bottles that kind of sit in this category, and we probably couldn't vote for them in other categories, so that it kind of needs its own place. But maybe it's difficult because it is the Scotch Whisky Awards, and then if we start having like the Irish section or the bourbon section or the rye section or whatever, it can be a bit messy. But I think the fact it is so big,
I can see how it's in there and it's made quite wide. Just there is obviously a relation with the whole being a whiskey enthusiast, that there is definitely that the whiskey appeals to whiskey in every shape and form appeals to us if it's made well. Like, it doesn't matter if you listen to country music or if you listen to AC/DC. I mean, if it's made well and it's good music, I can see how it's in there. It was just something in my mind. Just went, is it not quite a wide category? Is it not a very difficult one to? It's almost unfair in a way. But then you're right. Springbank is winning everything, so maybe that's also unfair. Sorry, I maybe shouldn't have said anything. But it was.
No, I think it's a really good question. I think it's worthwhile kind of like challenging things like this, especially when it's so early in its journey. But yeah, I mean, Roy said it much better than I have. It's the Scotch whisky community voting for all whiskey rather than just being voting Scotch whisky.
Yeah. I just not noticed his comment.
Yeah, me too. Just as I say.
Yeah. No. Okay. Fair enough. Thanks, Roy. I'll go. Whatever. But also, obviously, there is a relationship between single malt whiskey that's matured in bourbon casks, and I think it's quite fun to have that sort of comparison as well. Like, getting the different bourbon brands, and
it's quite nice. It's a bit almost like a out of your comfort zone question, where it kind of because it's something that I've not really thought about what is a non-malt whiskey, and from this I've explored further. Obviously I've gone for the hardcore melon corn, but apart from that, I think you explained it as well, Rob, really well, where it's kind of I won't repeat it because I'll end up getting stuck on my words.
I think one thing to kind of mention is, again, with that Springbank effect, is that everyone loves Springbank. So Springbank gets it gets a lot of the vote. But I think this is a point now where it's like, maybe people shouldn't be voting for the thing that always wins. And that's a difficult thing to say, because if everyone votes for them, they deserve to win. But then it just means that the same bottle's going to keep cropping up. But what is great to see, and especially from your own poll, Jeff, is that things that aren't American or aren't Irish are getting into this category, like Millstone being so high up is so exciting. The fact that more options are becoming available.
I'm just looking at the comments there.
Yeah, so it's kind of because I know Roy's always very vocal saying that predominantly, and it's the same in my channel, it is predominantly Scotch drinkers. And when I know one of the questions is, you say, are you solely Scotch? Are you like whiskey promiscuous? Do you dip your toe in other waters kind of thing? And I know predominantly I started to start with Irish whiskey, then went bourbon, or I started bourbon, went Irish, and then I kind of ended up more solely Scotch. But I do love dipping my toe. So I think this is also quite a good way to lure people out to try something new.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And actually, that's what it's done to me tonight, hasn't it? So delving into the category. So it was just that sort of, it popped into my mind and I thought, that's the question. And then somebody else is mentioning, I think it's Watchman 999 saying also about online Scotch Whisky Awards. So that's what actually got me on there thinking, oh, why is this category in there? But of course, it's open for all.
Yeah, no, it's a valid point, because it is. And I know Roy's always says if there was someone who was like a bourbon centric channel, if they want to do the online Scotch Bourbon Awards, the OSWAs, they can like take it on, and he's happy to kind of get people who are, because Roy, he always admits like he's a strangely knowledgeable chap about whiskey, isn't he? I think we can all agree that man's brain behind that goatee is just filled with whiskey knowledge. So, and he's primarily focused. Obviously, he'll say all the time, and that he is, I can't say, he dabbles around a lot, but yeah, I think the whole Scotch, starting as a Scotch starting point and then spreading further. So the stone is Scotch that you throw into the water, and then the ripples include the best non-malt.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Thank you. I felt smart when I said that, but in my bread. Oh,
in my bread.
I'm not using.
You were there, and
in a long week.
Yeah, I'm not using my loaf today.
Oh, look.
And then you got Roy saying, I'm here for all the misplaced compliments. Yeah. Whenever I say something, I'm always positive, but it just probably doesn't sound that way. So on that note, did you want to have a quick tactical break and do another round of Guess the Bottle?
Sure. Yeah.
After that, I'll quickly see if I can find it without showing everyone the bottle. What was the last one you guessed? Can you remember?
It was the Powers.
Okay. So this may be the Powers again, because I didn't label these.
We can get it in one then.
If you guess Powers straight off the bat now, I'll be impressed if it's right, but also I think it could be.
I'm tempted to vote Powers right now before it even comes on screen, but there we go.
So I think this is different, isn't it? I can't remember. But yeah, so any ideas on this big giveaway? And see, I'll keep my eyes on the chat to see if anyone flies in.
Yeah, I'm going to be chicken and not goose or goose.
I'm going to be goose.
Yeah, you're going to be goose. I think this is a giveaway.
Okay, yes. Did we do this one the last time? No?
Oh, wow, yeah.
No comment. Feel free to have a guess. If you're feeling confident that I'm that lazy, I'll do the same one again.
No, I don't know if it is the same one, but
it's
it's
a
one
challenge,
of them.
isn't it? Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Just think, how lazy do you think I am? We'll go for another one.
Is it gold or green? Yes, it is green label one.
Jenny's you might be right, you might not. You know, you never know. So Jenny's going for green label. Rob,
right. Okay, so you're giving us hints.
I think Jenny said, didn't she? Have I just given the
Yeah,
game away?
yeah,
I think you said green
JW.
label. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Rob, did you want to have another guess, or you
Oh,
feeling
I
confident?
want to say Johnny Walker Gold, but that seems a bit redundant at this point. Isn't there another green Johnny Walker? Is it like the Islands bottle or something?
There is, yeah.
Those
I
Johnny
think that
Walker
one's,
Islands then, but whatever.
I think that one's a black label, is it? I know there's Johnny Walker Green Islands, but I think the label, I could be wrong. I don't really know much about design, but yeah, we'll skim through because yes, I am that lazy and I've done the same one again. Don't think that was my intention, but as I think you both know, I was panicking getting this already. It's been a busy
You've done a
week.
fantastic job. You've done a fantastic job so far.
It's all right. Don't worry, everyone. Roy will be back soon.
Loving it.
All right, so what was the last category we done? So we're now flying on down to best distillery. So let's see if I can find my slide for that. No, that's just a picture of me, Roy, and Ralfy running through fields. We don't want to show that. I feel like the teacher at the front, you know, when the teacher's got to turn their back briefly to white sank on the board, but they don't trust the students. They've got to keep turning back. I feel a bit like that just then. So we are flying into best distillery. So in 2023, the winner was Springbank, as it was the last 2 years before that. It's had the trifecta. Would anyone like to put forward their picks? I know I've got a strong one.
Go on then, Jeff.
Okay, so my pick for best distillery, I don't believe is a shock for anyone, is Glengyle. The best.
Snap.
Somehow, what one's that one?
Snap. I've just opened my first heavily peated.
Oh, do you know what batch that one is?
It's 6. So it's quite old now.
Nice. I was going to say, I think I've got the 5 and I'm eyeing up the 10s. Is it 10 that's just released?
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Another
really great affordable dram as well, I will say.
100%. And slanderous from me, but I'm going to say Kilkerran is superior to Springbank. It's got all the same standards, all the same quality, but it is more attainable. And yeah, it's just my favorite. I love Kilkerran.
Same people make it, like the Mashman and Stillman are the same. It's incredible.
It's because so Kilkerran, a bottle of Kilkerran 12 was the first whiskey I actually traveled to get, like out of my way. We drove, it was only like 40 minutes. And this was during lockdown when you could kind of leave your house for a walk. And I was like, oh, let's go to this like beach, you know, and was like, well, that's nearly an hour away. It's like, oh yeah, it'd be nice. There'd be quiet this time of the evening. And on the drive down, it's like, oh, this whiskey shop's open. Can we just quickly pop in there? And by that point, I've already messaged him on social media saying, do you have any bottles of this left? And it's like, yeah, oh, let's just pop in. Oh, let's just grab this one while we're here. So yeah, the Kilkerran 12 was.
It's like you were driving somewhere to get an eye test during lockdown.
Yeah, no driving to classes.
I was going to say a throwback to our last chat is the best branded bottle as well.
We like it.
Yeah.
So, Jenny, what would be your pick?
So does it have to be a Scottish distillery?
Well, this is a good question. I did look through, I tried to find confirmation if it's Scottish distillery or not, and I don't believe so.
Well, I just spent 2 weeks ago, I spent 3 days at a at the Swedish distillery called High Coast, formerly known as the Box Distillery. It's an old box factory right on the river, and they used to make boxes from the wood that was floating in the river. And I go there and I get some insane sort of West Coast of Scotland vibes. I'm Swedish, but I've grown up in the south of Sweden and the southwest coast and love it. It's beautiful. But when I'm at the High Coast area, I just get this Scotland vibe, and that doesn't mean it's better. I'm just saying I can relate to it, and there's a reason why I live in Scotland. I have a big love for it. And the High Coast Distillery, not only right on the coast or right on the river, and the whiskey they make is phenomenal. It's beautiful, and the people behind the brand are really nice people. Like, they're a really great team, and I am a big fan of High Coast Distillery in Sweden. So they're actually on my list, and I've been there a couple of times now. And like the festival that they have the last weekend in June It's the best distillery whiskey festival, in my opinion, there is. And I know that's crazy because it's in Sweden and it's not in Scotland. And I know it's not Phage, but they have their own thing that goes on for 2 days, and it's phenomenal. If you ever have time to go, you should go. It's a very good festival. So I love them. I also love Smogan Distillery for a completely different reason. It's small, and it's just this one-man band pair who just Thursday, Friday, Saturday makes whiskey, and then he goes off to the city and works in the city, and then he goes back, and he just is so passionate and so knowledgeable, and he just makes whiskey at his own pace, and he lets people come and try there because they can buy casks, and they meet him and they spend time with him trying their casks. And he has this really like hands-on personal service of whiskey that is very Scottish attitude as well. I'm big fan. So I know I'm flying the Swedish flag here tonight, sitting in the west coast of Sweden, but I'm really proud of how well Swedish whiskies distilleries are doing. Those two for sure, they are very high up there. Can I also say, so how do you vote for your favorite best distillery? There's so many different things. Like there are the people, like do you vote for the best people? Because there's other distilleries that maybe aren't that pretty that have brilliant people. I really love McLoughlin for the people and for the fact that it's a farm distillery, but it's not open for the public, so you can't really vote for it because you can't visit it. But I also am a massive fan of Glengrant's garden, like the stunning surroundings. If you've ever been to the Glengrant Distillery garden, it's just, you can get lost for hours and walk in those gardens. So it's such a difficult category for me to pick one favorite because of one reason. There's so many different categories within the category. So we should be just like an OSWA Best Distillery Garden category, OSWA Best Distillery People category, OSWA Best Distillery Blenders. I mean, let's just open it up.
Yeah, I think that's a huge with so it answers Imrie Whiskey Shop's question here, like what makes the category, and it's quite, I like the fact that it is so open. So for instance, I've never been to Kilkerran Distillery as much as I would love to, but I've watched online tours of theirs. I love, like, in my head, I've based on the whiskey they release, kind of their company ethos, their kind of message they want to put out, how the bottles look, social media engagement. I'm also a sucker. I like to look at people's, because obviously it's my day job. I look at their websites and I see if it's one thing is I'm really doing a lot lately is how accessible it is. So like WCAG, like 2.2. So it's got to be, can people use it with visual impairments? Can people use it without using a mouse?
Yeah.
So if I find a website that's really gone out their way to do that, that's like, that's one thing that really I think is great to see. And it ties in my day job. So that's why I'm so sad. And I'm going to join you. You had lots of fans, actually. I'll quickly bring up the messages supporting your. So we got Swedefest 2025. So I think we're all going to come over. If we can all stay at your parents' house with you and they can start opening the signed bottles, that would be great. Whiskey Molly saying best whiskey ambassador would be a great category. It'll be a very tough category.
Yeah.
There was...
It kind of goes into the icons of whiskey kind of thing, but yeah, it's a difficult category.
You got Roy's a fan of the one-man band, which I'm not going to attempt to pronounce.
Schmergen is unbelievable. I didn't realize it was one guy.
Yep.
That is, the stuff he makes is incredible.
Just pair. And he made a Golden Promise recently that has just hit it out of the park. I don't know where you can buy it in the UK. If Per is watching, I'm sure he'll say, I'm going to see him next week, so I'll ask him if you can buy it in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something I've ever... I want to say I've seen it. If I look at the bottle, I'm really a very visual person.
Unassuming bottle. He's just baited himself on his Word document thing. I mean, he would say that himself. It
still works.
Yeah,
it still looks great.
It's about the whiskey. He's very passionate about what goes in.
We like craft distilleries. We like craft presentations.
Yeah, people do. Everyone likes to root for an underdog, but also you want to root for someone who's doing things with passion. Like 100%. For instance, not that people should root for me, but I would say I am absolutely clueless with whiskey. I do not have a switched on brain for this, but hopefully people are. I'm doing the Tony Blair, the thumb point there. But I hope people watch this just for the pure passion, the sweat and the slaps. That's all I can give you. But yeah, there's lots of support for High Coast. I think I've seen the Timmer and
Timmer, Hav, Elv. Eld.
And there's Whiskey and Wine Trails with the. And there was another one. Oh, and there's a lot
and
of
support. I have to say, quite affordable as well.
40 quid, you can't. And then there's also a lot of support for the Kilkerran. So Alan, the Whiskey Friend, says Kilkerran 16 beats the 12.
Can't beat the 16.
I haven't opened my bottle of 16 yet. I've had 3 or 4 samples because whenever someone's saying, I'm doing a bottle split with Kilkerran, I'm always like, doesn't matter what it is. I'm always in. As long as there's enough for everyone else, put me in again.
If we have time at the end of the video, we need to bully Pete into opening that bottle because that is a life-changing bottle. That is, say you're a Kilkerran fan as well. You need to open that bottle.
I've got
I can see gaps on that shelf behind you. You have no excuse.
It's because they're all on the floor around me currently. And the only following the non-whiskey train for best distillery for me, it'll be Cotswolds. Rob, I don't know if he's global brand ambassador, what his term is, but he's I feel like I've pestered him too much asking him questions. And like the distillery is stunning. It's probably only about an hour's drive away from me, which does help because I can get to there and see it. And it is just, stunning area. The distillery is amazing. The story kind of behind it's pretty cool. I loved every whiskey apart from one of them, their special release, and it was a real dagger in the heart moment because I love so much Cotswolds, and I tried. It was a Hearts and Craft. I want to say it was a rum cask, and I tried that at the distillery, and it's everything was yes, this is amazing. Oh, this one's wonderful. And I tried that. And I was oh, don't do this to me. My heart just kind of skipped a beat as I found a Cotswolds that I didn't agree with, but bar that one, everything has just been stunning. And then we've got Watchman saying Cotswolds is a win, but so is Bimber. So I really need to get to Bimber because from what I hear, it's not the most visually appealing on the outside, but it's magical on the inside.
Yeah.
Oh, the distillery. Yes, right.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, not the liquid. The liquid as well is very.
The bottles look great as well. They are very
are.
cumbersome. They're very big things, but
it's quite an industrial looking place, I think.
It also needs to represent everyone wherever they are. So I think we got multiple trips. So we'll start off in Glen Grant's garden. We'll then go over to Sweden because what's that? Like a 20-minute plane ride?
Yes, get a helicopter.
Just over the water, it's fine.
Yeah,
just a quick flight. So have we looked at what the people went for this?
Oh, look at that!
Oh, look at you!
Brilliant.
So at the top, Glengyle, but it was nearly tied with Glencadam. And I know there's a lot of love for Glencadam 10, but I don't really see much coverage. I'm only basing this on what I see on social media and in whiskey chats and groups. But there doesn't seem to be much hype. It could be me missing it of other releases than the 10. It seems to be everyone loves the 10. And then occasionally you'll see a port finish or a port cask pop up, and then another a sherry PX one, I think there maybe it was, but it seems very quiet. I don't know if you two have any other experience with Glencadam, how much that appears. It says it.
I've had the Alandusia. Speaking of things that
I know the one, but I've not tried it. I know the.
It is good. Again, that was a holiday bottle I picked up when I was in a trip in Wales, and that was really good. But I'm not super familiar with them, which is kind of bad to say because I know Glencadam 10 is so popular. But
yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. Great to see Glasgow on there.
100%.
Seb and Libby are both the people there are just super knowledgeable and they'll just tell you whatever you want to know. Also big fan of the whiskies, and I gained so much more love for that distillery when they went from 50cl bottles to 70cl bottles, and they didn't increase the price.
Well. Yeah, unbelievable.
I was impressed to see Ardbeg because Ardbeg has pretty much no hype at all throughout the OSWAs, which is when I started whiskey. I don't know if you do.
Yes, it makes me curious because sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm just looking at a bit of comments as well. But so, what the best distillery because Ardbeg is a great distillery. When you're there, the team there is the most welcoming team. Like Jackie's been doing that home place management job for such a long time. She's a phenomenal host. It's a beautiful location. It's a good looking distillery. They used to be the only distillery that did food on the island. I can totally see how the distillery is getting that sort of recognition, and I love it. And then, yes, obviously, there is marketing around the bottlings. There is all those funny films, and you can say what you like about that, whatever. But as a distillery, I definitely think they deserve to be there. And yeah, I can see that. I also put Kilchoman on my list. I just realized I didn't say it out, but Kilchoman for me is a really nice distillery. Again, it's to do with the people.
Yeah, Kilchoman, like the whiskey is all amazing, but from what I can see, from what they put out, just like on their social medias, like the videos of Aqvavitae and all this slides, yeah, it looks gorgeous. And I've got it flagged and I've got I may need assistance pronouncing that, but Desi, is it Violent? Yeah. Thank you for joining. I'm so sorry I butchered your name. I can't speak any words at the moment tonight. Unfortunately, my face, I can already feel my face has started to droop from tonight. So I'm going to use that as my excuse anyway for mispronouncing things, but really I can't. But thanks so much for joining. It makes me feel really happy. And that's a really sad thing to say, but it does, the fact that people are supporting this. So yeah, Rick saying, I understand Ardbeg no longer provides. See, that's such a shame. Driver's drams is such a, well, I think should be a vital thing for any distillery.
Well, actually, since we're talking about it, we're on the distillery chat because I'm that driver's dram conversation there. I'm part of a sort of ambassadorial chat on Facebook, and somebody asked, "What do your distillery do? Do you still do driver's drams?" And a few of us said, "Yeah, still do the driver's drams," but it's getting taken advantage of. So what do you do then? Do you charge for the drive? Because people that see that some like that aren't driving and they can see other people taking drams away, they'll be wanting it. So they'll be asking for it, almost expecting it. Like, what do you do as a distillery then? Like, do you say, well, you can pay for it because we do sell drams as well? Or do you not offer them? Or do you have to book them in advance? There's a bit of a sort of... What do you do? I mean, for me, if you're a driver, you do need a driver when you go to the distillery. So it's only fair that they get the driver's dram. So it's a shame that some people expect it when they're not driving. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it's people who do take advantage of these situations. It kind of spoils everybody else who are doing it because they want to be there, but they're obviously taking one for the team and driving there. It's just
exactly,
and they're still paying as well. They're still paying through these tours, and
because I'm fortunate. So when I went to the Cotswold distillery, because my wife doesn't drink, when you pay for it, you get paid. You pay for the tour and tasting, and so they've given me. Oh, they're just out of arm's reach, but they are tiny little samples of each one. So I've done well because I paid for both tours anyway because I felt mean making my wife pay for a tour for a thank that she's only doing it to be kind to me. But yeah, so I managed to bring back samples back, so I've got notes to have them later, and so it's I'm kind of paying for it, but also as you're paying for the experience in the distillery, so I can see very much both ways.
Yeah, but they usually most tours include rams, but it's just that sort of when some people see that you're giving a person a bottle like the little 3cl, and that's the driver's drams, they'd be like, oh, well, why can't I not get that? And you'd be surprised. I wouldn't say it's whiskey people. It tends to be maybe more the tourists, you know, like they'd be like, oh yeah, no, I want one for later or whatever. It's just it's quite a sensitive topic on this chat because some distilleries have just said, no, we're just going to charge for them now. But if you go on a tour and you're not drinking, then sorry, you have to pay for the same, and you have to pay for your dram as well. I don't know, it's difficult.
Yeah, no, it's something that could easily be taken advantage of. I think if you drink, I think there should be a clear, well, this is just me thinking off the top of my head, but if they did a clear divide of, are you driving? Kind of yes or no. And it's like, okay, if you're not driving, you have your whiskey there. And then if you're not at the very end, the people who said at the beginning they're driving or something, they then get the dram to take away. But you've then got added admin, you've then got, it could.
Yeah, no, it is difficult. I have to say though, like having a dram at the distillery where it's made is nothing better. It tastes amazing. Better. That's how you get to it. So if you're driving, you're missing that experience. You're having it at nighttime in the hotel, maybe with your friends that had the dram at the distillery. So I definitely think, oh, is that a
fire alarm or something?
I know.
Is everything okay, Jeff? Okay, so I'll put you to go rogue now, Jenny.
That's fine. Let's just keep. Well, we're having this discussion about the driver's dram.
Oh, he's back.
Sorry, I was getting my dram for the road. Now, my daughter's been, I don't know if you could hear it, but she likes to play my watches and she managed to set an alarm.
Yeah.
So I didn't want it to wake her in the room next door, so I could just hear my watch going off really loudly. So I was like, oh no.
I thought it was wrong. Ticking.
Yeah. That's the time up, right? You've had enough.
That's it.
That's me. Time to power down. So we'll fly on next to new distilleries. So this is a.
Would you look at that? Eh?
I don't know if you ever recognise the winner there, Jenny. So yeah,
Still can't pronounce it.
Let's see if I can find who else is in there. Yeah, so this is for me was the hardest category by a long way due to the fact that most of them have been said.
Yeah.
There's a lot slimmer pickings. So my pick, and to dive in straight with me, it was Lockley.
Same.
Because the cash strength is what started this whole goose thing. So I'm always be grateful for that. And then my follow-ups would be Torbay, because I've enjoyed everything from them.
Yes.
I believe they were on the no-fly list, weren't they? On the cheat sheet, Torbay were. Yeah, they are. I've just had a look. So really, my pick would be Lockley. Was yours the same? Would you say then, Jenny?
Mine is also Lockley. Yeah. So Eve on the chat has just mentioned Ardnahoe, which yes, they are also pretty cool. They had a really good sort of party at Fate, I saw. But no, luckily again, I like their whiskey, I like their people, and I have been lucky to visit them. But I like it.
Yeah. What would you go for, Rob? Are you on the Lockley love train, or are you?
I am. Well, it was one of my picks, and so was Ardnahoe as my shortlist. But this is another one that I voted for in the past, and it's never got through. And I'm super passionate about, and it is I would class it as one of my local distilleries.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Works. And I have to pick it. This is the Alter Ego, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, English whiskey. They're doing us proud. They really are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and obviously Cotswolds as well. But yeah, they are. It's great to see that somebody in Englandshire can really stand up and really, I feel like, throw some punches in the Scotch whiskey world. And these guys and the variety of the cast they're doing is all getting to some really good, interesting age statements now as well. Either they don't put it on the label, which would be cool, but the variety they have, like so much they play around with port and the virgin oak, and they've started doing the wine maturation with the Amarone, which I really want to try. But yeah, my other pick it's interesting because it's not one that I've actually ever tried their spirit before, but in terms of the distillery and what they're doing, my other pick was Dornoch.
Oh yes,
for the Thompson Bros, and again, it's not one I try and go in the ballots, like we do with all of these kind of like whiskey ballots, but not successful, unfortunately. But yeah, they are doing some great things. So
yeah,
had to get said.
Definitely.
I didn't even have to Google has Dornoch got the same spirit yet or anything, just to see, because I saw it on the Thompson Bros bottle. But the people have gone in hard with Ardnahoe, they did, and then very closely followed by Glasgow and Lockley.
Rosebank.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see a Rosebank.
I forgot I was there in May. It's stunning what they've done. It's beautiful.
That's really interesting. I feel like that would never have come to mind, because I associate with it being a legacy distillery, but I guess it would be. I guess in some respects you would call it.
It's in a complete new pajama.
Yeah, yeah, just the same location,
it's
right?
Lovely. It's beautiful. But oh my god, I would very much recommend a visit if you're ever down that end. Definitely go. It's really really nice visit. Beautiful.
Was Rosebank the very expensive tour? So am I
So-
thinking of a different one?
I think
Was it?
it is,
No.
it is. I feel like, is it not quite expensive?
No, I don't think they are. Well, I didn't pay for mine. Is that terrible? No, you.
The benefits of being on the inside.
I'm like that. No, it wasn't expensive at all. But I think I don't see them being that expensive, were they?
There
We'll
was,
need to
I think
find
there was
out.
there was one distillery recently, wasn't there, that was seemed to be charging an awful lot for a tour, and there was lots of press tickets went out or something, and then there was a bit of complaining about their tour prices. But I'm the worst person to come through for sauces, unless you're after ketchup and mustard. But on top of that, you have Holyrood, which is I'm seeing a lot more hype for that. I know the whiskey enthusiast is a big fan of Holyrood. We've got White Peak, which I think
So glad it's there. I'm so happy. I'm glad it's getting recognition.
I shamefully keep mistaking Wireworks and White Peak are not the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interchangeable. I do kind of come a crop of myself, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I was googling earlier in my search history. You'll see Wireworks Distillery ? Because I couldn't think of. And then you got a Roy favourite, a Glen. I'm sorry, my speech is really bad. Thank you. And then Moonshine Creek. So as you can see, there is no more distilleries were voted for, because these are all the ones that fit the criteria who were voted for. So out of all the votes, they're all funneled into these ones or distilleries that were like nominees last year. So it does show how much smaller the pool is for this one.
It'll only get bigger. It's exciting.
It will. So there'll be. I'm trying to think. I was looking for it today, and I was thinking, yeah, that was to make me sound really intelligent on this, but I can't remember. The only one I can remember is Witchburn, and the new ones to start going. So we're gonna fly into best independent bottler. So did Jenny or Rob, do either of you feel strong in your case?
Well, Again, I keep talking about people, but I suppose that's what we are. We are people, and we are drawn to people. I love Woodrow's. I love Thompson's brothers, and I love the Little Brown Dog people in bottlings. So those are the ones. But obviously, we've got Whiskey Sponge that are coming up on their final. Don't know if that's common knowledge now, but I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I think that's out now.
Yeah, that they're coming up on their final bottlings now, and that's sad.
It's crazy to think, really.
There's a reason for it, though, and they've done some great stuff. We were talking about labels earlier. How detailed aren't they? Labels, and they're fun. The stories that they tell. So yes, I just listed a long row. Woodrow's, Thompson's, Little Brown Dog, Whiskey Sponge, but obviously love North Star and Adelphi. I've heard of them. They're great.
Yeah, that little brand, Adelphi.
Sorry,
never heard of them.
No.
Well, they were on my shortlist. Adelphi, but we got my hand slapped by the shortlist. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah. Sorry.
I mean, Jeff.
James Eady. Yes, of course, course, James Eady. Again, about people. Gosh, I love those people. The guys behind there are great.
They were great when I saw them at the Glasgow Whisky Festival. They were so accommodating.
They are, and they're so much more about than just the bottling. They do the whole sort of research. Like Leon, who works there, he's done the books and the research on behind the 2 books that they released, and the experiments with the 1927 techniques in making whiskey. Oh yeah, James Eady for what they do. Absolutely.
That's a very good shout. I've been very impressed by some of the bottles I've tried. To answer your question, Eve, so the new distillery is 10 years.
Yeah.
I based on wherever their website says they're founded or they've started building kind of that grey area. So yes, 10 years for that one. Rob, did you want to follow up, or are you pretty much match for match? Or
No, I've got a couple. So my 2 that are very close to my heart. The ones that I'm a stout Cadenheads fan. I kind of alluded that at the start. I adore them. I'm a member. They give out loads of little samples. It's taking little sample packs. It's great. But the 2 that I feel like that need more attention, again, the value and variety are my honorable mention is Infrequent Flyers. They do some great. They do some fantastic
another
bottles.
alley. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and a good from good whiskey heritage stock as well.
Yeah.
It's great. But my pick is again one I voted for last year. It is Master of Malt.
Yeah.
And again, I think these guys they're not afraid to like blend their own and make some unique stuff as well. But I think the value again, like it all keeps coming back to value, and they do some great stuff. And it seemingly all goes out of stock very quickly because people are enjoying it so much. This one I actually I had a sample of this because I was quite tentative of not being able to buy it, but I had to buy this at auction. Fortunately for retail, which is great. But yeah, they do some really, really good stuff. Really good stuff.
Yeah, I was in the same boat. Master Malt was my first pick. They do. I feel like they do have a bit of an unfair advantage because they're kind of already in there with Atom Group and Boutique Whiskey.
Yeah,
but yeah, the stuff they put out is amazing value. I bought like 3 bottles. They released a 6-year-old Speyside, and it was £20 with free delivery.
Yeah,
and it was just so it was like transparently clear.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. It was very so estery and juicy, and yeah, that's just. And then my runner-up, if I could pick up the right bottle this time, is Wax House. I don't know if either of you two have experienced Wax House.
No,
I recognise the bottle.
And, oh my god, can I just say, what a tiny label with writing. That beats an Adelphi label. You can't read that. That's great.
You do need a magnifying glass, and the fact that it's also like embossed, it means you have to turn it to read it in the light. So every bottle they release has a different color on the strip. So this is I want to say it's a Linkwood, but I could be wrong. Just shine it in the light so I can see.
Is that the Linkwood that I think you mentioned on a video recently?
Yeah, it could be. I want to say yes. It doesn't tell me. Linkwood. I can't see it in the light. Linkwood Distillery in First Fill Red Wine Barriques, and yeah, this one was stunning. So that's the only one I brought a bottle of, and the Cotswolds with a green label, which was really cool, was stunning. I had to check my spreadsheet, but all of them have scored really highly for me, and they're really cool of how they're very. I believe they're quite small. I don't know if it's like 3 people or 2 people. Did a tasting at one time, and they were like, "Yeah, we do this for the designs," and so yeah, that's my follow-up pick. And the people have gone for. So it was a very close tie between Dranmore and Carnmore.
That's interesting. Berry Bros, great, yeah.
Yeah, I was quite surprised about Berry Bros because I'm seeming to hear a lot more negativity towards their bottles than.
Well, in terms of cost, I mean, the whiskey's great, but I think it's just the price that so it depends on what people are looking at. If they're looking at the whiskey, then fantastic, but what you have to pay.
Yeah, and then Fragrant Drops are very, very visually stunning bottles. I think I've only tried one, maybe, I want to say. But yeah, they're getting a lot of praise at the moment.
And another one in the vote for people as well. The when we went to the table again, the Glasgow Whisky Festival, and they were so accommodating. And the picks, I think they had one that was behind the table as well. So we must have said the right things when we were speaking to them. But beautiful liquid. The Ardmore, the dark rum was one of my whiskies of the year last year. It was incredible. And like you say, it helps that it's a very pretty bottle as well.
Yeah,
the glass cork.
And yes, Single Cask Nation as well. Like, and their they had was it a chocolate malt or something, or as referred to as a chocolate malt at the Westland they had at Glasgow Whisky Festival. I still think about that. So it's good that there were 7 other brands that have not been included in past nominations. So there's definitely a wide
good
net.
Hopefully, it means that in future that not the same one's going to keep coming up every year. There is so and so many that are deserving as well. I think it's not just.
Do you know what's happening in this category? I mean, maybe not in this category as such, but so Royal Mile Whiskies now have their own label as well, and a lot of the retailers are. We were talking about that earlier, but a lot of retailers are now having to find ways of selling whiskey that isn't always on the high street, or like not the bottlers' own distilleries' own bottles, and they're trying to find their niche, or they need something to bring, obviously, people to their shops. So I think we're going to see a lot more independent bottlers moving forward.
And it's good as well because it kind of sits into that category of like unique blends as well. If they're doing their own kind of stuff with their own cask and actually having to play around a little bit, which is exciting. I think it's great. I think the fact that there's so much variety in this category, and especially it's not just a case of just sticking with core range all the time. You can kind of like get some unique casks. I've seen a lot of use of tequila casks recently. I think Fragrant Drops did a tequila Linkwood, and then it's great that it's not just the same old like legacy brands. So to speak.
No, absolutely, agreed.
Yeah, it's something that independent bottlers is something I need to explore more on. So at least I'm glad I've got a good list to work through, which is
I've got to admit,
whoever. Go on.
So I was just going to say, with the indies, it took me so long to kind of have the confidence to dive in, and it was always so intimidating because I always wanted to research the hell out of anything I was drinking just to make sure that it was either worth the money I was spending, because I'm always quite conscious with that. But also it's because like, if I buy it, am I going to like it? Is it going to be like up my street, not knowing maybe some of these unique unknown distilleries like Ardmore or whatever? But the fact is the point of entry is getting lower. Like, it's not just a case of like, it's not all single cask, it's all high cost bottles. It's actually, there's such a decent range that more people can kind of get involved. I think that's key.
And the fact that the information is on the label, because it isn't just the distillery, that they give you the whole, it's that cask, they have all the information. And I think that's a winning point.
Definitely, yeah.
It's a good place to go, the indie rabbit hole.
Exactly.
So we are now dipping into best world whiskey. Do you want to go first? I've got my bottle to hand.
I'm going to throw mine out straight away because I'm cheating, because I'm going to vote for Wireworks again, because I have no shame, and they are one of my favorite whiskies distilleries at the minute. So the one I'm going to pick is an older bottle. It's the Double Oak, and this is one that they've done a new release using the same casks. So this is I believe a finish in fresh port casks, and they did a second release with those same casks but full maturation, and it was incredible. Such good whiskey. So yeah, that's all. Short and sweet. Get out there. No shame. English whiskey.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Jenny, do you have a Swedish whiskey to go?
I absolutely love the. I feel like I love both distilleries, Smuggin and High Coast, but I was just most recently drinking the High Coast festival bottling. Was an 11-year-old, and I can't remember if anybody is on the chat. I can't remember what it was. That's terrible. It was a limited release cask bottle for this festival. It was stunning. 11. Sorry, High Coast.
I'll give it.
I like the fact we're both picking local as well.
Yeah.
So I'll resist. I'll put back down the bottle of Cotswolds that I've just picked up then. And so my pick was Westland American Oak, which I just knocked the cap off.
Fantastic.
Stunning. Absolutely love this whiskey. It's chocolatey, malty. It's all the good stuff. Non-chill filtered, no color added. Westland Distillery, Seattle. And I just don't really need to go. I think I've raved about this a lot. I like the Gariana a lot, but that's
really
beyond
nice.
my price range.
That is a great bottle.
Nice
bought that to Isla, and it was very well
good
loved.
Sustainable methods there as well. They're really quite nice guys. So yeah, that's a good shout.
And then I do have a second one, and I'm going Irish because I feel like Irish is getting very overlooked, possibly for good reasons, possibly for not. And that's the Teeling Stout Cask.
Oh yeah.
So I've got a thing for Irish whiskey and stout casks. I've always loved the Jameson Stout Cask, the recently £19. This is a bit more pricey, but this is, for me, Christmas. Do you know Christmas Yule cake?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a Swiss roll with other chocolate. I don't really know puddings. But that's one pudding that I know I like. And that's what that reminds me of.
I mean, Irish whiskey and stout, like they're tripping over those casks. So
yeah,
perfect marriage.
It's a fair trade, just rolling casks just down the hill to each other. It is. But yeah, I did look into what was the distiller for the stout? 200 fathoms imperial stout. So it's from the Galway Bay Brewery.
Galway.
So I did have.
Galway.
Yeah, that's the one. I did have to look into that. But
it's not Guinness.
No,
I can't believe it.
Which is quite nice to see something different. Obviously, nothing wrong with Guinness, but it's always nice to see something different, you know.
Not sticking to the stereotypes.
Yeah, and then the people have voted for. So,
fantastic!
Armoric 15 was the winner by a big margin.
Really?
Which I was really surprised, but I did look. I had to look into it because I've never had it before. But yeah, that won by quite a large amount. And then
I've had one Armoric before. It was really, really nice. It didn't really connect with me in a big way to the point where I bought it the best. It was a really good whiskey. Really good. I'm not going to put it down, but that's interesting. Maybe that's a secret. That's a secret bottle we need to look at.
Yeah, so that was lots of people were for it, and then Knob Creek 9, which I believe is just the one that we can get in supermarkets here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always an offer as well.
Then you had the Wireworks. Is it Cardura?
Cardura, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the Wireworks I've had the most, and enough to make notes on. And yeah, that's a very high scoring whiskey for me. You've got the Injury, so not the Trini, the Daru. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm keeping this. At least I'm consistent. That's just like the cash strength version, which I've not tried, so I can't. But there was maybe three votes for that one. With Injury Trini taking, were they? They didn't win last year, did they? No, but they were highly in the running.
Can't remember.
And then you've got the kind of Armoric Frusion. I really can't speak tonight, sorry about that. But yeah, the bottom, the one at clicked across now, the one at the bottom of the list, that one, it's all falling apart now. It's gone past midnight.
Armoric Fusion.
But yeah, the Paul John Classic as well, the Select Cask. So there was quite a lot, and then there was 11 other bottles.
That's amazing.
So it shows the Scotch drinkers are very much involved in world whiskey.
Yeah.
And I just love the fact that the variety as well, where it's coming from. It's not, again, just America and Ireland. Go on, Jane, sorry.
No. I wanted to just highlight, sorry, it was just because I looked up the whiskey that I actually did like, and I went, okay, that's why. I love a West Coast Scottish whiskey in a bourbon cask, and this year's High Coast Festival whiskey was a 12-year-old bourbon cask, and that's why I loved it. It's simple, it shows the DNA from the distillery, it just lets you shine. But another note, how I'm loving that we are noticing more world whiskey, but it's because world whiskey is noticing us as whiskey drinkers as well. So again, going on to Smuggin, and Eve has commented already about Askim, which is a Golden Promise release, 8-year-old Golden Promise, which is outstanding, out of this world. And that's fun because they're also now looking at the different barley varieties and the cask maturations, and just like Scottish distilleries, it's open. World whiskies are also following that sort of trend and exploring the different varieties, which I think is really nice.
I mean, it's not a case of just sticking to the same formula over and over. That it works. They're actually willing to experiment and actually get some different stuff out there. I know Golden Promise is really kicking off at the minute, and it seems like a lot of people had the same idea at the same time when they're putting down those casks. But yeah, very, very cool that we're getting a lot of different stuff, and from so many different places as well. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
I do wonder how long we can get away using the term world whiskey, because there's so many amazing whiskeys in each country, whether websites are going to have to start having menus that span beyond the screen, just listing each one. But I wonder, unless you just do it as a local format. So if you're in the UK, you'll have Scotch, then world whiskey, which is everything that's not Scotch in the UK. And then you have, but yeah, so it's an amazing. Well, I know me personally, I found it such an amazing time to be involved in whiskey, finding out all these. Like I never knew of Swedish whiskey till maybe 2 years ago when people started talking about it. I've never known about Indian whiskey, which is a huge market, and I've
Mhm.
never really known about it. So it's just, yes, it's been an amazing exploration. Did we want to dive into the last category, or did you want the last guess the bottle?
Guess the bottle.
Yeah, let's get the
And
bottle.
hi to Menno, who's now here.
Hey, the people have chosen
think-
wisely. Yeah, they have
I was
definitely.
going to say, let's see if I can find it. Oh, yeah, we've done that one. We're good.
Mhm.
And we've
Johnny
done
Walker
this
Green.
one. Yeah.
Yes.
No, there we go.
Ooh,
Image
that's
number
interesting.
1.
Ooh.
No idea.
Hang on.
I don't even recognize that color.
No, I don't know either now looking at this. And I only made this about 2 hours
Right,
ago.
okay, Jeff's playing.
That an old Cutty Sark? The green bottle and the yellow label? No, I don't know.
Is that, I was going to say, did you want to stick in that
No,
guess?
I'm not looking
or-
that in.
no?
That's just me.
That was a
blabbering.
guess.
Smart move. So this is the next one. Okay, I still don't know what this is.
No.
Are those 3 brass monkeys?
Oh, we've got a few people voting. So you got Roy guessing Orchard House. We got Overland Rams guessing Bullet. I can't confirm or deny. I don't think it's either of them, but I generally don't know.
Go on, Jeff. What's your guess?
Right, I can't tell. It's well, how long have I been on? So we've been on this for 2.5 hours. So thank you all for staying with us, and thank you both for being guests so
2.5
late at night. No, I still don't know. Oh no, I do know. I do know. Yeah. So we've got a guess for Annandale, but no, and we've got a guess for Belveni. No.
I have
Evie,
no
usually feeling
idea.
confident.
Nope.
There has been a theme in all of these bottles. Very loose theme, but there is a theme. Do you want me to go to the next one?
Loosey goosey. Goosey loosey.
Okay, that doesn't help, does it?
Oh my god.
I'm less confident in that. Well, I don't know.
I have no idea. No idea at all.
No.
I don't recognize the colors.
I'm just going to quickly check outside
Is
of
it
this
actually a whiskey?
just to see what. Oh yeah, no, it does make sense. It's definitely whiskey. That's the only clue I'll give you.
Okay.
So we got
Definitely
Hernand
whiskey.
again for Ardenhoe. There you go.
Oh,
Now,
there we go. You can see it. Oh, it's the new branding.
Mm.
Well,
is anyone going to feel confident and put their guess in?
It's the Victoriana.
Of course
I
it is.
think.
So it's that, yeah, because it's obviously completely rebranding itself now, isn't it? It's all,
Yeah, we've got lots of people coming in as well, guessing it. So I think you could be on the money there. There you go.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a giveaway.
That's
Yeah, there you go.
Wow, I completely forgot what it looks like. Yeah.
So that's the green bottle. The yellow is actually the whiskey. I thought that was the label when I looked at it earlier. Okay.
I can see. So this is the 3D rendered with so the green is like
Yeah.
the green glass.
Very bulbous, isn't it? Yeah, it's very.
Mm.
Yeah, so I couldn't have, considering I put this together, I wouldn't have guessed that until too late, which is very concerning.
That was tough. That was a really good one.
That was
Thank
a tough
you.
one.
It's better than doing Johnny Walker again for the second time.
Well, you should know what to guess next time.
Yeah, yeah, straight away. If I'm fortunate enough for you to join me, or if you're foolish enough to join me again, it will be green label again for the third time. All right, let's see if I can fly back to. I really should have labeled this. There's just tiny little screens I can see. So we've done best world whiskey. So here we are, the best Scotch whiskey, the big category. I think it's fair to say for the OSWAs. Does anyone want to fly out? So Springbank 10 won last year, Port Charlotte 10, Lecheg 18, Ben Romac Cash Strength, Boona Harbin, is that Cash Strength? And then there's the Victoriana and I don't know if I prefer the new look or the old look, but
I'm torn. I love the old bottle, but both are great.
Does anyone want to go first?
I'm going to be really boring and really it's Kilkerran 16.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. We're going to allow that.
But are we? I mean, has that been on the list? Sorry if it was.
Jenny,
yes, it has. It is on the.
Oh, sorry.
So that was my first pick too.
Because I thought I went over the list, and I was thinking, how could that not be on it? I must have missed it. Sorry.
Unless
I'll
I could have given you the wrong cheat sheet just because I want to hear more praises for Kilkerran. I wouldn't put it past me.
No,
I think we need to calm down about Kilkerran because people don't get the idea that it's actually good whiskey and they're going to start buying it and start over the Springbank. So
it's hard enough as it is. We're only making life difficult for ourselves. Would you like to follow up with any other whiskies, Jenny, or are you happy to break my rules proudly with Kilkerran 16?
Well, there's a whiskey that, but I mean, I love our Paul Onawa, but that's really, really cheeky of me. That's my favorite whiskey of all time, our Paul Onawa. But
is it really? No, I think that's really interesting, though. I think that's fascinating. I love the fact that I thought it was such a difficult category. Every year, it's so difficult to pick what is your favorite whiskey out of all the ones we get to try, and to narrow it down is just so impossible. But the Paul Onawa
looked at the list,
gorgeous.
and it was at the Kilkerran was at the bottom of the list, so I hadn't scrolled through, and I was like, I can't believe it's not on there. That's my favorite. Kilkerran 16 is such a good whiskey, but I'm sorry that yeah, and I can't think.
I will allow rules to be broken for Kilkerran. Rob, are you also going to break the rules?
I was going to say, I think I asked the question in the WhatsApp. I asked for Kilkerran 16 as well, and I think again I've mentioned this before on your channel, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. Again, another one that's good representation for batch variation. I've had 3 different batches, and it's been brilliant every time. But I will say that it's not my pick. I did have a few. I'm trying to reel them off. So I had the Kilkerran 16 was my first. Ardent American Cask Strength was my second pick. It had to be done. It's such a good bottle. Again, a good batch variation as well.
I'd like to set another rule breaker that one as well.
Yeah, well, these are ones that have all been struck out, so I will.
That's okay.
I'll just throw them out just in case. Tomatin 18. That's one I've connected with recently, and that was been fantastic. Kiwigor 15. That was another contender, and the Ben Romac. So this is difficult because I know again Ben Romac wasn't allowed, but every single ex-bourbon single cask has been some of the best whiskey I've ever had, and I think there needs to be more core range, just pure ex-bourbon.
Yeah,
but just to kind of round it all off, I'm kind of cheating a little bit, but I'm going to top and tail this and say my pick is this. My cheapest bottle, my best value bottle, is also my best bottle, and I think
that's good.
That kind of says more about me. I'm a cheapskate, but also I think
that's professional. You've done professional storytelling there. You have. I don't want to say my pick now. I just want to end it there because you rounded off neatly.
Okay.
I think I cheated a little bit, but
not that I'm copying you in any way. But my list, I've made a big list for this one. It starts off with Kilkerran 8 port cask, which I love more than anything. It is just my favorite whiskey ever. Then that's followed by Kilkerran 12. And then following that is whiskey that I rave on about, the Lefroy 10 Sherry Oak. I did pick this up thinking, yep, I'll grab the bottle out of this. And then I pulled out a bottle of Talisker 10. So I don't know where my bottle is of it. I can't find it on the shelf, but it's slightly concerning. And then I also had the Whiskey Baron 3-year-old Stoischer, because that is just like whiskey pebbles. Like I know I've sent you a fair few drams of that.
Yes,
Rob.
you have, and thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm now on my second bottle of that because that is just, that does things for me. But I'm going to end on Deanston 18.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's such
is that allowed? Did you break a rule there? Was that not?
No, I didn't. It's not. Deanston 18 has not appeared.
Oh.
Really?
Well, if it has, I've glazed over it if it has to play by my own rules. But
it should appear if it has, because that is a cracker.
It's the Ledshaig 18 now. The Deanston isn't on there.
Yeah, Ledshaig 18 could have easily been my pick, but because that's been, I don't know if that's been 2 years in a row that's appeared in the final nominations, but yeah. And what do the people go for? I can't remember. Let's have a look. There we go. So number one was Craigellachie 17.
Just again, Jenny with the finger on the pulse.
Yeah, she knows what the people want. So yeah, Craigellachie 17 was, I think, maybe 4 or 5 votes higher than anything else. No, that can't be right. That's bad maths. It was a lot higher, let's say. And then the Edgeador 10 signatory, which I can't believe's not appeared already. Like that Pepsi, what's that, like Pepsi Max, Dr. Pepper kind of sherry beast. It's just like a funky bottle. Port Charlotte 10, which I think does appear, actually. I think that was on the list of ones not to include. So I've made a mistake there, but I'm going to allow it. Anok 24. So the 18 has appeared before, but the 24 hasn't. Ardbeg 10, which I think I don't know if you all agree with me, but I think that's just a solid Scotch whiskey. Ardbeg 10 is like a staple of what a Scotch whiskey is to me.
Permashelf.
There's the, well, I don't know what that one. That's that small little Ardney Mapan. The Powell Lewinies.
So happy with that. I love it. Thank you.
I think there was every one of these, I think, had at least 2 votes, I want to say, at a minimum. And then as you go up the list, they got higher.
17 other ones. That's mental.
And then, Springbank 15 came in. And then, there's 17 others. So we're definitely not shy on picking other bottles. There's a pretty good range for what we think is the best Scotch whiskey. So 2024, I think, will be a good year for the OSWAs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From these these polls that you've done, Jeff, very excited to see how this all turns out this year, because I think we're in for a good one.
I think so. Now, do you two, on that note, have enough energy to do a quiz?
Of course. How can we not end this with a quiz?
I don't know. I can't tell you if it's a good quiz or not, but it's a quiz. That's as far as I can tell you, I think.
Do you need an A, B, and C thing?
I was going to say, I don't have any paper to hand.
It is, but I'm happy for you to just do A, B, or C with your hands.
I'm going to do. Remember I did it in the Kilkerran font last time?
Yeah, we got high expectations this time.
We're still waiting for that font.
Oh, yeah, the font file. Right, so
I can keep this exciting.
I believe Menno has gone to bed, and yes, he has. So I think that's best, Menno, because if you didn't pass my quiz, it doesn't bode well. I'm sure there'll be many, many pass marks flying around tonight. Thank you all while you're preparing your notes. There's still over 50 of you in, so thank you all for joining tonight. Thank you to Rob and Jenny for putting up with me for rambling.
It's a pleasure.
And I've really enjoyed this, and hopefully this quiz ends on a high, but considering I couldn't guess my own guess the bottle game, I don't have much hope for my quizzes either. Right. Are you ready for question number 1?
Yes.
So, how many times has Douglas Lan, brand and bottle, this includes, made it to the public nominations? So the nominations you see on the OSWA websites, how many times has DL bottles appeared? So we have 5 nominations, 6 nominations, or 7 nominations. So if you were paying attention earlier, this did appear at the start.
Oh, for God's sake.
No one needed to say, remember this is going to be in the test. I feel like I should have said that at the time. We've got Sean saying many quizzes are tough. I completely agree. I'm very pleased if I ever hit pass mark. Jenny's going straight in with it. No, it's fine. You're keen. You're confident in your answer.
I'm going to change my answer just quickly.
Yeah, for no reason.
No, not at all.
I'm probably wrong anyway.
No, I can't remember what it is. So I'm glad I'm the host at this time. So we've got a couple of guesses going in for B. Watchman. I'm going to punch the name. Is it McLoughlin, that name? Possibly. I'm probably spelling it wrong. If I am, I can only apologize. Peathead. That was weird. You got Simone's going for C. You're mixing it up.
Just me.
I've seen what yours was, Jenny. Unless you've changed your mind. Do you want to reveal yourselves, you two?
Yeah, I went for, you can't probably see that. I went for B.
B. And what was your guess, Jenny?
I'm sticking with my A.
You're sticking with A. And the answer is A.
I'm so competitive. Sorry, it's not a very pretty side.
I'm glad your camera froze in just as you stuck the fingers up to Rob. So quite a few people got it. wrong actually on this one. So if my quiz is wrong, though, do tell me. That's how confident I am. But we'll slide on. So question 2. Which best value whiskey has the highest ABV? So that includes from these 3, and I think they span all 3 years. So you have Lecheg 10, Kilkerran 12, and Arran 10. And because I didn't have the little ass hat emoji, I've created my own one using Menno's wonderful face, which I've made him look like a Smurf. So I'm glad, Menno, you're not here to see this tonight, but if you see it on the replay, I can only apologise. It's a little bit Menno-esque, this question is.
So this is an ass hat question?
Possibly. I'm going to refer to it as Menno-esque.
Menno adjacent.
Menno ass.
Yeah.
Menno ass.
Yeah, I couldn't get that picture from him. He wouldn't send it to me. So, are you both ready?
Yes.
I think so.
Lots of people in the chat are going for A, and the answer.
I'm going for A as well.
Rob's going for A.
Oh, I was going to go for A, but then I don't know. I'm just going to do something different.
Are you going to mix up? I can't see what that is, I'm afraid to say. What's
B? Sorry, B.
B. Perfect. So the answer is A. Lecheg with 46.3, Kilkerran with 46, and Arran with 46. So there's a 0.3 in it. So I thought that's slightly Menno-esque just because it was only a 0.3.
That's me, and my lead is over now. I went for different colours this time.
Oh, very nice. I was going to expect you to disconnect now that you've lost the lead.
Yeah, totally. Whatever.
So number 3, Blue Spot Irish Whiskey was nominated for Best World Whiskey 2023. But how old is Blue Spot? This was one that I'm glad I had the answers in front of me because I wouldn't have known.
What are the answers?
That would help telling you, wouldn't it? Sorry. I was thinking, I was just going to let you wing it. So you got either 15 years old, 7-year-old, or it's a non-age statement. So Blue Spot.
I think I've got this.
Yeah.
This was in the short list for one of my other categories.
Oh. So if you get this wrong now,
I'll be devastated. I will be absolutely devastated. I mean, egg on my face.
There is consensus in the chat.
Oh.
So we are going for Rob and Jenny.
You can't see. I put B.
We've got a B and a B.
B for both of us. Yeah.
Everyone's going for B. Brilliantly done. It is 7 years old.
Oh, if we finish this with the same score, Jenny, I'll be so happy.
Me too. I'm already happy. I've got 2 out of 3. That's not a bad shout.
Me too.
No, I'll say end it now. I would end on a high.
It's been great, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. So, which Compass Box release is not soon to be retired? So, we have discussed this earlier. So, this should be a nice, easy question for everyone. So, Story of the Spaniard, Spice Tree, or Hedonism? Which one is not soon to be retired?
I think you've been really kind to us with this one.
No, this is just the level of my brain, I'm afraid to say. You're so used to Menno's advanced quizzes.
No, I
Mine
love
have been like,
great.
What is your name?
At this late in the evening, I'm not sure I'll be able to do that right either.
All right, so
I'm still going to get it wrong.
Mr. Believe in yourself, you got this. So there's consensus so far, yep, I think. Jutu, what are you going for?
I'm going with C.
Did you always like, this just reminds me of being in school and having an exam. Did you ever go like, you read a question, you're like, oh, come, I know the question, I know this answer, and then you think, if I know it, that's probably wrong, and then you just put another answer on. No, was that just me?
That sounds like my entire childhood. That does, and adulthood.
It's always worse when you read the question first, and it's like, "Yep, I know, I've got this," and neither of the 3 answers is the one you had. So
yeah, I always used to hate it when you get to the first question and you think, okay, this is really difficult, and then you see people next to you turning the page over because they've already completed it. That was always painful for me.
Yes.
So yep, bang on the money. I think majority of people, some people did get it wrong at the end, but we're all here to have fun. That's the main thing. So yeah, hedonism, which I don't know if I've spelled that right, so I'll quickly move on. So which of these is not the name of a turntable release? So there's a fair few now. There's also country exclusives. Like I think there's an Australia exclusive, I want to say.
Oh.
So these are, so you either have Joy, Discover, Invention, Go Your Own Way, or Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger. So which of these? So A, B, or C. So which one's not
This
the
is when
name?
Jeff does a one that's all three are correct. Please.
Shut up. So it's been worded a bit trickily. Some of the answers have, but yeah, which is not the name of a turntable release? We've got someone calling for asshat for this one.
So
I think this one's okay. I don't think it's too bad.
This is a complete guess.
I'm just going to quickly just check my answers while you're quickly writing that down, because I'm now questioning myself. Because no, I don't want to search for Dubai turntables. I want to buy turntable whiskey.
I'm not entirely sure.
Have I made it?
Yeah, I'm splitting the difference with this one.
No, we're good. We're good.
You confident?
So yeah. So you two. So that's interesting. It's quite a split.
Yeah, I'm kind of going against.
Sean's saying C is a Daft Punk song. It is. Frank's going for A. We got a guess of C, A, B, A. So Jenny's going for a C. What are you going for, Rob?
I went for a B.
B. So the answer is which is not the name of a turntable release, and the answer is B.
Oh,
Go Your Own Way.
Well done.
So they don't have a Fleetwood Mac song. They have, what's it called? I'm trying to find it. It's something it's called One Way or Another.
One Way or Another.
So is that Blondie? No.
You've got to say they've got some fantastic taste in music.
One Way. I got to work out. Yeah, it's Blondie. That's okay. My dad wouldn't forgive me if I got that wrong. So yes, I thought I went close from going from Blondie to Fleetwood Mac. So yeah. Number 6, which bottle won Best Blended Scotch in 2021?
21.
So which bottle won Best Blended Scotch? And this is a bit Menno-esque, this one. So is it Johnny Walker Green Label 15, Nicker from the Barrel, or Thompson Bros TB BSW 6-year-old? So which bottle won, quotes, blended bottle scotch, ... end quotes, in 2021?
I'm going to let it ride.
No, that was one of the songs from the last one. That's a turntable bottle. So we've got a B and we've got a C so far. So it's already 50-50 if you decide to go with the people.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I've read it. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm changing it. Just read it.
Well, now I want to change it as well. Well, no, I don't. Well, I
just reread the question and I got it completely wrong.
Yeah, I was not to give anything away. The question's worded in possibly a grammatically incorrect way, but it's.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh no.
So we've got lots.
Guessing myself for a pass mark.
A, B, A, C, A. So majority are going for A if you want to follow the crowd, or Rob and Jenny, are you ready?
No. Stick it. Well, I'm going to
finished looking at, so we've gone for, Rob's gone for C and Jenny's gone for A. The answer is Green Label.
Oh, damn it.
So even though it's a blended malt, in 2021, the category was Best Blended Scotch and Best Blended Malt in one category. So that's why I've done that.
It was.
I was thinking there was something up with that.
I thought the fact that it was a blended malt might throw you off.
It did at first, and then you mentioned it being a trick question.
I just read it as blended Scotch, and I was like, no, it can't be Nika. So, but still wrong.
So, which Johnny Walker has not made it to the nominations round? So Johnny Walker has appeared a few times, but which one has not made it so far? So you got Johnny Walker Black, Johnny Walker Blue, or Johnny Walker Green. I don't know why I was too lazy to write the word label next to Johnny Walker Black label, but
consistency in the labeling.
Yeah. It's been a long night, okay? I'm making these now. I'm only one question ahead of you. Next question is, what's my favorite color?
Is this like AI?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even exist.
Yeah.
So we've got a mixture of, we got some B's, some A's. It's currently saying Baba in the chat. So are we going to follow chat? So
Baba.
both are going for B.
It's
and
ABBA because it's
I love
turntable.
yeah, its blue label has not appeared.
God, I'm not
Do
going to get
you
the
have
pass
any
mark.
thoughts on Blue Label? I find it's a very tasty whiskey, but remarkably how I'll describe it.
I've had a 5 centiliter sample like 5 years ago, and it didn't really do anything for me. And thankfully, because it's so
smooth.
expensive.
Yeah, nothing sort of super exciting or whatever. It's just an easy drinking one, but it's just expensive for what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very expensive. I described it as drinking a silk hanky.
That's fantastic.
So I think that's a good thing, but we swiftly move on. So, what distillery can enter Best New Distillery in 2024? So what distillery can enter? So you've got Bimber, Glasgow Distillery, and Witchburn.
Oh.
And Peathead's joining in. Don't like the blue label, extremely overpriced. It is very much overpriced. But if I was given a free bottle, I wouldn't complain. It's the kind of whiskey, I think, it's a show whiskey, isn't it? It's like something you want to show off that I know my whiskey.
A gift whiskey, isn't it?
Yeah. How are you? Are you feeling confident? So which one? I'm reading it as well just to make sure my question makes sense because I don't trust myself. What distillery can enter Best New Distillery? So which one can enter?
I don't think that's right. No.
I don't know. I mean, it has to be distilling, won't it? It needs to be making whiskey or spirits.
No comment.
Yeah.
And again, I can't confirm if my information for these questions is correct, but I'm trying my best.
It was all AI. Just blame ChatGPT.
Yeah, those darn robots. Are you both ready?
Yes.
So what distillery can enter Best New Distillery? You've gone for B, and is that B again?
It is B.
Double B's, and the answer is Bimber. Glasgow.
I'm not going to get the pass mark.
I believe. Well, it depends how you do it. So based on when it was founded and operational, Glasgow edges out of 10 years this year.
Oh, does it?
Oh, of course, yeah.
But if it's based on first release, this question is void. So if people want to give themselves a free mark, they can. I'm going to allow it.
No, I think you're right. I think it's
on.
I think it's from when it's operational from.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's probably right.
Yeah. Glasgow, I think, crosses 10 this month.
Okay. And Witchburn isn't producing yet, are they? Or well, they're not.
No, they're not producing any liquid yet at all. I think it's still construction.
Yeah,
I think I saw a video with the giant orange towers they're trying to build. Or yellow towers. So number 9, what independent bottler won in 2021?
I can't believe you're making us think that far back twice. 2021.
I know.
So yeah,
remember face mask.
Right, you've got this. I believe in you both here. So it's either Thompson Bros, Signatory, or Cadenheads.
I think.
Sean says Roy always gives a question where all answers are correct. Just saying.
Yeah,
I don't think that in my quiz. I don't know if any of my questions I've put together are correct. So. Any score is a good score.
This has been good so far. I feel like I've had a chance all the way through.
Yeah. If you've enjoyed it, we're the real winners.
Well, this is it.
No, which is what every losing parent says to their child, isn't it? It's participating that counts. Rob and Jenny, are you ready?
Yes. Gone for a B again.
So you've got a B, and what's yours, Jenny?
B.
Another B, and the consensus is B in the chat, apart from one person, and the answer is Signatory.
Yeah.
Because they got their trifecta, and I've just
it's the trifecta. Did you just kick your bottles over?
Yep. That's all right. They all have a cork on just.
Is it the black bottle? Good getting it now.
Yeah. Embarrassing me like that. And number 10. What best single malt Scotch winner is the tallest bottle? So, and it's a bit of a tricky one.
Oh, come on.
So what best single malt Scotch winner is the tallest bottle? Was it the winner in 2021, the winner in 2022, or the winner in 2023?
Oh my god.
So it is slightly Many West because you've got to kind of know who won each year and what year they
Won in
won.
21. I can't remember what won the first year.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to go with the gang with this one.
Yeah, there seems to be 3 consensus in the Helen, Peathead, and Simone. Is it Simone NZ? And
Liking it.
Yeah.
Aqvavitae is now joining in.
B was the one. He was
Actually, he's in the same time zone as me. 10 to 2.
10 to 2.
It's the VPub. It's so instilled in him now. He's just sat there in front of on a desk, envisioning a computer in front of him.
It's time zone.
So
That's just the So I also think it's Victoriana. Is that what it was?
That's what I thought. I thought B.
Yeah. And it is. Yep, you're correct. It was the Victoriana.
Oh, look at that.
The other one, I think, was it Lecheg? Was it Lecheg 18? No. Aaron 10 was 1 year, I think.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find the heights online to get it exactly to be even tighter, but Victoriana was clearly, it's non-Calax friendly.
Apparently Roy is playing this in his sleep. He's just rubbing it in that he's so skilled.
Yeah. It's so ingrained. He's just there in his bed typing.
This is his dream.
I think, how did you both get on? Did you get a pass mark? Did you get beyond 5?
I got 6 out of 10 and I'm really happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good going.
I got 7 out of 10.
Well done.
Was that 7 out of 10, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, so we have a winner. Has anyone else beat? I've not seen anyone beat you in the chat either.
Well, there's Hellswood.
8 out of 10, Hellswood.
Yeah.
So there's a few 8 out of 10s. I'll take that.
Are there any 10s?
What did Roy get?
Tired, I imagine, but I can't see. I think he only joined in for the last one, but I think on that high note, and we've clocked over 3 hours, which I didn't expect. So thank you both. I know it's even later for you, Jenny. So thank you so much for joining in, you two.
This has been fantastic. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for joining in, and hopefully this has got people mildly excited for the OSWAs, ready to get fully excited when the actual announcements come. We're the warm-up act.
I'm excited for all the new categories, the best garden and all sorts.
And if it's not in there, they'll be doing the live stream and Jenny just barges through Ralfy and says, no, we need Glen Grant's garden.
Ralfy, come on.
Well, on that, Rob and Jenny, thank you so much for joining me. I'll let you enjoy the quiet of the green room and I'll talk to you in a bit. Congrats, Jenny, and thank you both. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.
And on that, thank you all for joining me. A huge thank you to my Bottle Slap Club members. Thank you to everyone who's joined in the club, as well as just being here to watch me rabbit on for 3 hours. Roy will be back soon. We've got a brilliant Vin pub coming up. I think Roy said about there could be a recycle review dropping, but he's the man to know, not me. Thank you for stopping in to the Slap In pub. I really enjoyed this. And thank you for putting up with me with my speech being a bit struggling tonight. Hopefully it's not hindered in any way and you could hear me. But I think all that's left to say is all the best. And as I quickly find the video to smoothly X out, all the best and cheers to the next one.